Welcome everyone. It is I, Mod, today. Here joined with my lovely, insane AD carry duo, Alk Battery. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
I could be better. Philios nerfs got me feeling some type of way, but I will live another day.
Yeah, I can probably relate because you replaced me with a different support.
Better player wins all the time.
Better play. Anyways, we got a really exciting match for us. I believe it is Ballistic Penguins versus Stable Geniuses. Already in the pick and ban phase, so lay it down on me, Alk Battery.
We're seeing a couple of great picks or bans being taken away here. Cho'Gath Riven, Yuumi. This champion is a little bit kind of questionable. Some people really love Yuumi and put a ton of priority on it. Others, like myself, feel that it is super situation. Could probably see a little bit more experimentation for where it could be seen, but yeah. I mean, this match is really high stakes. Obviously, we're coming into the 9th week here. We're closing out the regular season, and these two teams 5-2, 6-2, but Ballistic Penguins are coming on with a really strong kind of wave towards the last half of the season here, only dropping a single game, not even a full match. And while Stable Geniuses, the past 3 weeks, they've at least dropped one game, and so this is kind of like, hey, are we going to be able to close out, especially with just how close a lot of the brackets are with 5-2, a lot of teams sitting at that record.
Yeah, and we do see Malzahar and Galio Band coming in through from Stable Geniuses. Definitely looking to take away those easy to execute mid laners off the table, but we see the first pick, Shen, coming out from Ballistic Penguins.
Yeah, that's a great pick there for Minnesota. This guy puts in a lot of Shen games, so kind of going to be expecting that. Now, for this team, for Ballistic Penguins, I'm expecting some kind of, typical front-to-back team fights. I'm expecting for champions like Miss Fortune actually be incredibly high priority for how they want to play. And on the opposite side now, red side here for Stable Geniuses, you have a lot of great picks. I love the Ornn. You still have a lot of flexibility with where you want to throw it, and wouldn't be surprised if you even see a more flexible jungler. It looks like even Olaf first. I'm a little bit hesitant on this one, but we'll see how they kind of pilot on this.
It depends what they're building around with the Olaf or how they're gonna plan to utilize with it. Obviously, I mean, Olaf is Olaf. Tends to be one of those high priority junglers early on, but you kind of have a ticking time bomb in most cases, at least, where you kind of need to be ahead, or else this Olaf won't be doing much later on in the game. So very interested to see that they decided to show it very early on in the draft.
Yeah, and I'm kind of confused as to why things like Yuumi get banned if you're gonna have this huge kind of top side of the map. Like, okay, well, if we're gonna prioritize Olaf, why are we banning Yuumi when we should say, hey, Ballistic Penguins, you want to handshake that away? I'm willing to trade that. We have an amazing way to get right into your backline, and we have something of an unkillable beast in the Olaf. But on the side of Ballistic Penguins, going for the Kha'Zix, not a jungler that we typically see, but right now with level 9 being such a the benchmark kind of breakpoint for a lot of champions in the jungle, I think it's really interesting that we're going to see some kind of resurgence, at least in some of these assassins.
Yeah, I mean, very excited to see this Kha'Zix coming out. Wasn't really expecting it, especially into Olaf.
Not great.
Question. Yeah, yeah, not a fun time for the Kha'Zix player on that end, at least. And we see the Jinx early on, which I find interesting. I guess they want to save mid lane priority pick, but I think they could have just shown us support first. Whereas we see on the side of not evil geniuses, stable geniuses.
They're just stable.
Yeah, they're stable. They're not even evil, but they lock in the Lulu here. So, you know me, I'm not a big fan of Enchantress supports, but if you can play it. Yeah.
I mean, I love this. This allows for champions like Ornn and Olaf specifically to be incredibly dangerous. So now on the side of Stable Geniuses, you have really great ways where they, like you were saying, Ballistics, I think they want to make sure that they have a much stronger understanding of where mid lane or what champion is going to be there. But now that they've picked themselves Lulu, they've got themselves Olaf, I think that Stable Geniuses have actually set themselves up for a pretty robust draft as we get further and further on. Now, like I was saying, Aphelios has been, kind of targeted nerfed and has lost a lot of ability damage when it comes to his Q on every single gun. However, I still think that this champion can find some kind of ways to execute, and I think into something like Shen and Kha'Zix and Jinx, you still have some room and some area to play around. So we could potentially see that. Again, I think Miss Fortune's probably going to be the pick here if we're on the side of Stable Geniuses.
I think you're right with the Miss Fortune pick. It sounds really nice, and it puts them in a really good position for the ganks against Kha'Zix. Miss Fortunes, Make It Rain, tremendous slow, gives you a lot of breathing room, and then there's always Polymorph too. So, I mean, this. Well, I guess Ashe does the same thing, but it's Ashe.
Just better. I mean,
yeah.
You're able to fight against Jinx in the lane with the Ranger's focus and the volley. And, I mean, trying to get onto this backline when you have Lulu, Ashe, Polymorph, we've got Wild Growth as well, it becomes really, really difficult. So now what I want to see from Ballistic Penguins is what champions are they going to be able to pick to really help with them with their engage? Because you have things like Shen, which are great for reactive or kind of helping to facilitate other dives, but things like Morgana are not really what I'm looking at when I take a look at this draft and how we're going to get it and try to kill Olaf or Ashe before they start to pop off.
Dude, this could be. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say my Papega draft for them, but they already locked into Oriana.
All right, well, taking a look at some of our great sponsors, thanks to U.GG, Kha'Zix actually has a 51% win rate in Plat and above at for Olaf. So, I mean, we're taking a look. I mean, the matchup's not bad. It is more of a coin flip. But
yeah, but I think he has to run Conqueror into this comp now.
yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
gonna have
yeah.
to. Although we could maybe make I could make an argument to see potentially a phase rush for Kha'Zix, but then you just seriously lack damage and are putting a lot of pressure on trying to get that isolation. And as we close out the draft, we actually see Morgana, Oriana, and Veigar here for the red side. Honestly, this stable geniuses, it's not the flashiest in terms of, hey, we're gonna look to kill you, hey, we're looking to do something different, but this is a pretty stable team composition. It does exactly what their namesake is, and it has great ways of it has great vehicles for different parts of the game. The Olaf is looking to pop off in that early game and help become that vehicle to transition this game into mid to late where we're fighting over objectives, probably going to be ending this game before Soul, and if Ballistic Penguins are not able to get to an early start, they're gonna basically put all their eggs in the Jinx basket and hope that Black Shield saves them.
Yeah, and if you're the Kha'Zix player here, you have a omega headache looking at their draft. You know, Ornn, I mean, you can probably burn his flash early on, but imagine getting bot lane and then trying to gank Veigar with the cage. I don't know. Like, I'm hoping this Kha'Zix player is able to pull in some really good work. Maybe it's in Zeki's champion pool, but I mean, I don't know.
I'm a little bit afraid. However, if I'm on the side of Ballistic Penguins, I think Vision is going to be really, really key, and we need to take a look at some of these lanes. Oriana should be able to combat and try to fight Veigar for the wave control, and Shen versus Ornn, I mean, we're not really looking to gank that lane. If we are, I think ganking Ornn, really what you're trying to achieve there is prevent him from getting level 13 and keep him in that wave. The things here for Ballistic Penguins that I'm going to be looking for is how they play around a 1-4 or a 1-3-1. You really don't want to try and team fight this team if you're on the side of stable geniuses, so make sure that Kha'Zix is going to be essentially playing the same role that maybe a Nocturne could have been, where you're looking to punish on side lanes, you have Shen pushing in another wave, and just being ready with that Stand United, making sure that you pressure this Ornn, because Ornn typically doesn't have amazing wave clear. Yes, once he gets his Sunfire and he can kind of sit in front of the wave, then you can make an argument that, hey, you know, maybe he can't clear the wave, but Shen should have priority when moving out.
Yeah, definitely, and a lot more global presence than Ornn, like you said, with Stand United, and there's always still his TP, so that's something that stable geniuses have to consider during these objectives. Granted, I think Olaf probably has better time in the jungle. I know you said that it's a positive win rate for the Kha'Zix in Platinum and above.
51% on UW.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
you picked the 1%, but yeah.
Yeah, but like that's not like a. It's not like
a hard stomp. Yeah, it's not stompy matchup, but I mean, I think this really comes down to like how these junglers path, because I'm assuming they're both probably going to path towards bot side. Although, granted, I think maybe the Olaf can look for something on Oriana early on. But even then,
I'm gonna be looking at Kha'Zix. Gasyup, when you're playing on Kha'Zix, you have a couple of options for how you want to do this. Now, typically what we see, there's right now 2 different stances on how people should be jungling. You're either going to be going for a full bot side clear or full one side clear and go to the other half, take your buff and try to fight for a scuttle. Or Kha'Zix more than likely just going to be doing a more gank heavy approach where we're doing red, blue into Gromp, and then we're looking at this opposite side of the map. Now, he's on blue side, so he is more inclined to be able to do that kind of pathing, and I think there's kind of a discussion going on around right now on Twitter where is this game more heavily focused on ganking, where right now because of jungle XP being nerfed until level 9, you're not really getting too much out of it, so you just might as well spam gank all you want, while on the other side, because of the low cooldown timers on a lot of jungle camps, people are just looking to just power farm. Once you hit level 9, you start breaking even and even kind of rushing past some of your laners. So for Kha'Zix, you kind of have to, you just got to go for it. You got to be able to gank this lane. He doesn't have amazing gank assist like you had said, Shen being kind of that hard CC, and you're really looking at Morgana to land that binding. I'm interested, like you were saying, to take a look at how these two path and where they're going to end up, let's say 10-15 minutes when we check back in.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, even like with the gank approach for Kha'Zix, I really think like all 3 lanes for him are really complicated for him to gank. Maybe the Veigar might be easier if he wastes Cage early on, but like Lulu has Polymorph for bot lane, Ashe has, you know, W for the slow, so yeah, I mean, I'd hate to be playing Kha'Zix in this draft.
Yeah, I mean, Ashe just throws a hawk shot every 50 seconds and you're basically tracked for where you are, so while I was saying yes, vision is going to be important, it's incredibly easy for people like the side of Stable Geniuses to just establish vision, even permanent or temporary. Hey, we hawkshot at top side, all of his camps are gone. He's more than likely either invading in top or he's in bot side clearing some camps, and all that takes is your mid lane Veigar just roaming into the jungle, putting down a ward and saying, hey, are the Raptors here? If no, then yeah, he's probably top side. If not, then he's looking for something botted. So Ballistic Penguins, they've got a pretty big task at hand to try and get around some of the draft kind of errors that we've seen so far, but it's only game 1. You can do a little bit of experimentation, and I'm interested to see once we hop into game what exactly the result of all of this is going to be.
Yeah, with that being said, we're going to go into a short intermission while we wait to transition onto the rip, so stick with us, grab something to drink, grab something to eat. It's quarantine. You have more than enough time, not like you have anything to do outside. So stick with us and we'll be back with you guys shortly. welcome back everybody. We are on the Rift for game 1. Ballistic Penguins versus Stable Geniuses. We're on the Rift. Are you excited? Because I am.
I have to say that I'm spamming some emotes.
Spamming some emotes?
To myself.
To yourself, alright.
Yeah, we can't be spamming during in chat. Although you guys watching, you guys can go ahead throw some probably throw some weird champs. Honestly, you just throw
weird champ.
Fine. But yeah, we will. I mean, taking a look, I'm just going for a standard fan. I would have been really excited to see an early invade from one of these teams, specifically Ballistic Penguins. You get yourself off to kind of an early lead, look for a summoner lead, but I don't want to risk too much. Again, best of 3 series, so you still have some room to experiment. But yeah, again, taking a look, probably going to be starting on bot side here for Gassiop on the Kazakhs, and we're taking kind of probably going to be a much safer approach where Dominope on the Olaf can just kind of sit here and just freely farm his entire jungle, wait until he gets level 4, level 5, and he just 1v1s this Kazakhs. I'm expecting, because of them both starting on bot side, that the kind of jungle clears are going to be staggered, and actually it seems like Gassiop's actually just going to go for a level 2, a level 1 on blue.
Yeah. I don't think he can actually invade, but that'd be interesting if he's, you know, feeling himself. Gonna go ahead and invade his red buff, but they have it warded anyways, so.
Yeah,
maybe
so obviously Olaf probably won't be able to get it that fast.
Yeah.
He won't be able to clear that fast, so they'll know that he's there, but it looks like he is just gonna go for blue Gromp into red, which is gonna be more likely what's gonna happen here. This is again still following along the same lines of that same kind of gank or that clear path, but
yeah.
you kind of still open yourself up to being able to gank on a level 3 power spike, and you'll basically still have time to go for a scuttle.
Yeah, I mean, seems fair enough for both junglers here, as we are seeing Gassiop edging towards the bottom side of the map. Gonna be pretty standard.
I mean, this is really. So if I'm bot side right now and I'm saying, okay, well, we have to play weak side while we're waiting for Olaf, this bot lane between Jinx and Morgana should have a lot of wave priority for how they want to push the lane. You're kind of forcing the Ashe to waste a lot of mana on volley, and good thing from them that they're keeping the wave right in front of their turret. They're saying, okay, you want to push this out? Well, now you're in a pretty awkward position. Gassiop, I think, went for a little bit of a weird pathing. He should know that this Olaf is not gonna just kind of do buff camp clear. Now they're looking to engage here. Polymorph down.
Polymorph is wasted. Steps on the trap. They're turning towards the Lulu. Kha'Zix jumps in, ignites ticking, and Morgana picks up first blood. Now they're turning towards the Ashe, but the Dark Binding misses, but they're still gonna get it. Double kill for the support. Who needs Jinx getting all those kills? But you know, we see the all chat report coming in from Jinx, but so far
gold.
Ballistic Penguins, they chip out a bit, but they lock it down, and we do see Olaf on the top side. It's a fiesta already, 3 minutes into the game. Pops the W, able to tank a couple more autos, forcing the flash, and he stays alive.
Yeah, great job right there. So unfortunate that I Hate Life is not able to build, or to try to get that last kind of knock up right on the volcanic rupture. Incredibly misfortunate. Probably ends the gank right there if they're able to actually get that kind of piece of crowd control off. But amazing job from the bot side of Ballistic Penguins. You saw how they pulled the wave in, and even though Kha'Zix went for a little bit of a weird kind of jungle path where he crosses the river and checks to see if the Gromp is there, he probably knows that, hey, Olaf is gonna go show top side, so immediately gets that gank. Not a lot of summoners have been taken, and now even Olaf is able to try to at least punish some of this kind of as retribution for what happened bot side.
I mean, they burn Shen's flash is really a good point on the waist, and you know, props to bot lane. They point out that hey, Rage just wastes polymorph. That's probably something that we should be able to punish, and it works out in the end for them. You know, Morgana getting that Fiendish Codex. You know, we out here.
Not amazing. I mean, yeah. So she obviously gets a whole bunch of ability power, and she also gets that cooldown reduction. Sadly, Zeki is gonna go for the exact thing that any marksman player will tell you they hate: first back cull. Even though they went 0-2, they didn't even waste too many of the summoners like we see on the opposite side from them. Getting first item cull is really unfortunate. Probably recognizing that there's not going to be too many ganks. You really only have Olaf. I'd be interested to see if Stable Geniuses, as kind of a response, because of how they're kind of the wave is constantly shoving thanks to the Ashe clear.
Yeah.
Just have Lulu kind of roam into river and look for invades and try to help out Olaf. I think that'd be an interesting way to try to at least get Olaf ahead and start snowballing him.
Yeah, I mean, they could always think Dragon as well. I think Olaf does that pretty well, by himself at least. But so far, you know, they have a lot of bottom river control. Olaf's kind of hovering, probably going to head towards his Raptors at this point on. But mid lane looks like it's in favor for Billup.
Yeah, for right now, I mean, he's just getting a lot of, he's doing a lot of damage. He has no mana, so that ultimate kind of feels like, hey, please, I need you to back right here because I want to take my back after I push my wave and use teleport and come back. But I mean, cool, I guess you're gonna have to pop.
Dude, that was a wave check. That was a wave check right there.
Yeah, that was the vibe check. Just making sure that come on, Emperor is like, hey, are you awake? Looks like even mid getting a little bit of action.
Yeah, but man, I bet they wish they had ultimate right now. Oh, the fadeaway!
There it is.
Oh, there we go. Nice, done. Digimon Emperor picks up the kill.
He just looks back. He's just like, all right, let me just, like you're saying, fade away. Don't even look at it. Boom. Gets
Dude,
himself a kill.
He told Billup, give me your vibes.
Yeah, for real. I mean, he probably could have used a little bit of help into that matchup. Maybe if he had utilized U.GG, he would have figured out, hey, probably using ultimate in that wave, not amazing. Now, because he had to blow his flash, interestingly enough, he's going to use his summoner spellbook. He's going to pick up the barrier. I think it's going to be not going to be useful too much. I would have actually expected maybe a ghost to try and help in that lane, but
Yeah.
now we see Digimon. He just bounces the wave. He's able to back here. He should have a lot of gold for himself. Olaf is now top side.
Looking for the gank on top of Shen.
Oh.
Loves the Vanguard, but not going to be enough. They should be able to finish the kill right about now, and Domino picks up the kill fairly easy as well. No flash for the Shen. Really easy. By the book. Punish it.
He's looking really good, and like we said early on, hey, if that Ornn lands the knockup, more than likely that's the gank right there, and ends up landing it, is able to find the kill. Olaf picking up another kill for himself, doing really well. So now with the bot side getting a little bit more priority, now that they know that, hey, we're playing weak side, there is no jungler, at least, or we're playing strong side, there is no jungler on the towards bot side. They get some priority. Not gonna get too much on this back. Want to just take a look at gold real quick. Yeah, it's only about 1400, so there's just gonna be a BF back here. But I mean, Gassiop now kind of is in this really awkward spot where he is down, you know, not a significant amount of minions here. He can full clear his bot side, but now with the back from bot, and with bot lane kind of moving up from Stable Geniuses, this should just be a free Ocean Drake unless some massive catastrophe goes on here.
I mean, a little bit late towards this, and Gassiop's on the wrong side of the jungle. Veigar could flank. Might,
You have no
fine.
priority. You have no mid priority, Billup.
Yep.
He's in a pretty
Billup? Yeah, you got to put in timeout, but I mean, none of the teams are going to be getting Dragon here, but it forces, like, it gives them a ton of information on what Gassiop's been up to. So now they're more better prepared for this. But yeah, we see Gassiop still roaming once again. They have vision on it, and now they're pinging him. They know he's on the bottom side river.
But like, what is he doing right now? Like, I'm kind of confused. Like, it kind of feels like he doesn't really know what he wants to do right now. Does he want to go for a gank? Does he want to try and get vision priority? The sweeper is not up, so he's not able to get rid of vision. He has a pink sword in his inventory, but kind of feels weird with what they were doing here. And now with where some of the waves are, we take a look at the minimap. Orianna just trying to drop into Fog of War. They're getting some vision thanks to bot side pushing in and getting priority for themselves. I don't think anything's going to come from this. Yeah, you've got vision on Olaf now, but really right now what they want to do is, if you are on the side of the Penguins, have this top side being a shoving nature, and look for the standing item. Because right now Shen does not have TP thanks to that earlier gank.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't think Gassiop knows really what he wants to do. He's taking the back even though with all the bot priority.
Yeah, I mean, he's going towards topside once again, so this should be really good, like, Ocean Drake available for Stable Geniuses, as we do see this top lane fight between the tanks. Gonna be trading a lot of...
They'll fight. They're throwing bricks at each other. They're just like, you know, like, oh look, I'm popping my corrupting pot. Hey, nice handshake. We're gonna... Cool, we'll be back after our Grasp of the Undying's re-triggered.
Yeah, and we do see Billup rotate towards River, preparing, as we do see Digimon Emperor shoving in the wave, and direct camera takes us back top lane, but back to the Dragon, as it's already been started from the side of Stable Geniuses. They're looking for the Wild Turtle steal. Warseed does hugify. The Olaf is huge, but Billup pick up the kill. A trade for the jungler as Gasio takes him down. Digital Emperor gets a double kill, looking for more, but the Jinx is excited, running deep into the enemy jungle as the Oran Horde connects on 2 members, and now this could be a clean ace. Available as the Morgana is running for his life. Gasio already respawned, but the flash from the Ornn and the slow from Bali should lock in the kill. I hate his life. Might be enjoying life right about now as he picks up the kill on the Morgana.
And sadly, it doesn't matter how many biscuits you got in inventory, it's just how the cookie's gonna crumble. And I mean, Ballistic Penguins, that was a really, really great fight for them, but something that could have really easily been kind of turned around from the side of Stable Geniuses if you just don't look for that. And specifically, Dominope, I think, played a really important kind of role in how that fight ended up shaping. We saw the ultimate coming out from Orianna, and not much actually in terms of damage. Yes, it did put him pretty low, but the Ragnarok came out way too late. Now you're stuck in the situation, ends up going down, and while Ashe is able to fire away at least a little bit onto that backside, the important thing to note is Billup ends up getting a lot of gets at least one of those kills, and it's looking really rough. The dragon wasn't even taken, so it's like, well,
yeah.
Okay, so we just all fought for a bunch of gold, a bunch of objectives.
KDA players, bro.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's only about 1,400 in the lead here for the side of Stable Geniuses, but kind of confused as to really what was gained. I mean, we still have full summoners for Philip.
Yeah, and the thing is also, like, I think that fight goes very well for Bandit if, like, our Blue Penguins, if Zeki and Flower Petals don't kite upwards towards that fight. I think if they kind of just kite backwards, they have a better chance of not dying in that fight, because Ornn's waits like kind of too far from the fight to contribute, but the fact that they funnel towards the Ornn makes it a horrible position, as Dragon is given straight over to Stable Geniuses. You know, they eventually get it.
Yeah, and again, now that we're coming across, you know, we've already crested the 10-minute mark. We're about to hit 15 sooner, coming up rather soon. Coming back to this jungle matchup, I still am really hard favoring Domino, but it's actually...
Pops the Ragnarok, you should be able to get the kill here. Misses the axe, and the Hugify is wasted. He might still die here. No, okay, he's fine.
I mean, really anticlimactic there. Just, he might die.
The Jinx Rocket too. Oh my. You know,
not enough. But that was comedy errors right there. I mean, Flower Petals, he's trying to use all his abilities to say, hey, maybe we can fight back, but unable to find too much. Polymorph doing a lot of work in that bot side, but Ocean Drake is going to be really huge for this team.
Yeah, Kha'Zix is coming. No Polymorph available. Pops the ultimate. It's going to have to jump on top of the Ashe. Shield barely keeping her alive. The flash. Auto on top. Gets the shutdown over to Gasio. Nicely done. Finally to get a kill on the board for himself there.
More kills not going on to Zeki. You hate to see it. This man is trying really hard to pick up at least some kill credit. His Cole's not completely stacked, but I mean, both junglers right there flowing flash.
Yeah.
The important thing to note is that Gasio does have the Rift Herald here. That was their trade. They're willing to get rid of, hey, we'll give you this objective in trade for this. Now, turret plates are about to fall, so this Rift Herald is going to drop significantly in terms of value. And really what I'm looking for is, since we do have a Cloudric coming up next, what the next objective here is Gasio probably going to be spawning this Rift Herald. This is such an awkward time to put this down. You just you should have probably just done it when the Ashe is not already going to come back to lane. Pretty sure they're not even able to get it. Yep.
Nope.
And that's just a complete waste of the Rift Herald. So, Gasio, again, a lot of mistakes coming out from the Kha'Zix early on. And even a pretty large level lead here.
Okay.
Proved disastrous if it runs away.
Maybe you're just, you know, doing it for charity, as we do see the Ashe ult connect on, I believe, Jinx, but they're not going to be able to get much off of it, as we do see them rotating towards mid. Nothing was really up available for them other than maybe, I guess, bot turret, but their bot turret's a lot lower than blue side, so that's something to keep in mind there.
Speaking, I mean, just, I'm really worried here for the side of Ballistic Penguins, because this is a team comp that, kind of wants to scale. Obviously, you want that Jinx to be your hyper carry. You've got Shen to help protect her, but really, we haven't seen too much in either of the solo lanes. I mean, Minnesota has been kind of just playing his role. He's being the best role player he can, really filling in. But Philip is kind of just sitting in this lane, and you need to be very proactive on this Orianna, at least into the Veigar matchup, because you are going to be outscaled as the game continues to go on. And I mean, Veigar provides a lot better crowd control than a single just, you know, command dissonance and as well as the shockwave.
Yeah, I mean, he already has completed the Hextech GLP. I forgot the name that everyone calls it. I call it a different name, but you know, Risen's PG.
Oh, but... hey, come on, man. Look,
anyway.
I mean, look, we've got the PG sponsor. I'm really hoping we see maybe a Raid Shadow Legends. I'll hold that as.
Oh, they're raiding the chat right now. Bye.
But didn't do much. Didn't do too much right there. Great job.
Hey man, I think you gave like Minnesota the Raid Shadow Legends buff where like he doesn't get scanned from it, and oh my gosh, the damage there! I don't even think the Shockwave is gonna be able to kill him. Oh,
Barry was the cooldown still available for him, so.
Yeah, I mean,
he's afraid he's gonna tank a lot of turret shots here, but the problem here for Stable Geniuses is the wave that the lane that you were expecting to stack is actually doing fine for themselves.
Yeah.
Needs to be really careful. Channel.
Yeah, Standing United coming in through. Should be able to hop on top. Not able to get the. I mean, the taunt wasn't gonna work, but they locked down the Olaf. But the hose, as what Rando Joe told me, not gonna be able to look for much there.
No. Is it just the hose? Is it? Are we not using frozen hose? Are we just? Alright, we're getting Morton from production. We just call it whatever we want. Alright,
we're gonna call it the Johnny Guzzler, you know?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay.
What?
Look, Matsuda, I don't think we can.
Alright. I retract my statement.
Apparently
you don't support my nicknames here.
Not. Look, come up with another one.
Dude, Rando Joe's laughing in my ears. Obviously, that's approval, honestly. Right, but TP's coming in. TP's coming in. TP's coming in. Shockwave available. Or stuck in the pit, forced to flash away, and now they have priority inside the Dragon Pit, and that's going to be Dragon going straight over to Ballistic Penguins. Hops over the wall, going to be able to chase the Ornn, but the Ornn should be a-okay. But, I mean...
What just happened?
Bro, that was a heist. That was a heist right there.
That felt like the biggest waste of like a 4-minute cooldown I've ever seen. Just like, alright, we're TPing. We're not really looking for a fight. I mean, now they get the inside track in the mid lane.
Yep, and nice. Oh, I hate life. Might be losing his life right now. Kha'Zix does have Conqueror. Eventually going to be able to kill him, but the Ornn might be moving for it. Oh, so close. One more Q at the Veigar. XD's on the Orianna. Picks up the kill. As Lulu goes to town from the Jinx. Finally! But Ashe flashes over the wall. The trap's not going to work. And KFC picks up the kill. And the shutdown goes straight over to Domino as Gassiop gets taken down. And the Ashe can be binded there. I don't even know what happened on the other side.
How is any of this even happening right now? I mean, they get the insight into mid lane. And then Gassiop again overextends to try and get this kill onto Ornn. And what was looking like a great play where, hey, you get the Cloud Drake for yourself, really important, especially when we're taking a look at champions like Minnesota and Philip, just completely goes sideways, and now we've given over an additional 3 kills. Yes, we're able to kill Lulu, but now we're losing our mid turret. This feels like, this is a real COD fiesta right now going on.
Yeah, dude. This is my favorite type of game, Hulk Battery. Dude.
Yeah. I know. This is not my favorite kind of game, however.
I find this entertaining. I know you're the color caster here, you know, you got the brains, but, you know, I see the Jinx go brr and
yeah, but I'm not even seeing hands, though. Like, I'm not seeing many, I'm not, like, maybe if this was, like, really impressive mechanics during a fight, I'd be like, okay, pretty great stuff going on. Like, yeah, we're making a bunch of mistakes, but the fights are just really epic. No, we're just seeing a Kha'Zix hard overextend to kill an Ornn, of all people. And, I mean... Digimon Expert or Emperor is just putting in the work with the ultimate, and as we hit a pause right here. Gassiop seems to have disconnected. I would too right now if I'm playing jungle. honestly,
Jungle is ruined? Question mark?
Jungle is not ruined. Jungle is definitely not ruined. I'm sorry. Anyone who thinks that probably does not have enough experience in the role. And look, I'm an ADC player. I don't like jungle as much as the next person, but the role is just unbalanced. The role is not broken.
Talk to him. Talk to him.
You get to
All right,
play
chat.
Karthus every game, okay? Look,
Chat,
you guys get
chat.
to play Karthus.
Chat. Does Alt battery miss? Does this man miss? I need to know right now.
Sometimes, 50% of the time, all the time.
I don't think so. I don't think this man misses. He don't miss.
I mean,
Man.
I predicted. We predicted
just
the. We just missed. It's fine. It's fine. It's a miss. It's a miss. Look, you can't
miss?
hit all the shots.
Alright.
But I mean, this is a really weird game for Kha'Zix because he's going Conqueror, so it's like, okay, you want extended fights, but who on that enemy team do you want an extended fight towards? Do you really want to be in a 10-second to 8-second fight versus Ornn, versus Olaf, versus like Ashe and Lulu? Is that really where you want to be? You're picking up the Black Cleaver because yes, they are getting tanky, and that's your way to try to itemize against them, but
Yeah.
I just feel like this was a pretty awkward draft for them to try to execute. Now, all things considered, we're 21 minutes into the game. The game is 12-6 right now in kills, and the gold lead is only about 800. Even with these we're taking a look at like massive gold discrepancies because of Zeki. This guy is 50 CS up on his lane opposition. That's 1500 gold for him, and I mean it's just.
And he went cold too.
Ow.
I mean, it helps compensate with that too.
The Cole, nerf this item out of the game, please. Hey, it's obviously what's keeping them here, but you see the second Rift Herald here being dropped for topside. The entirety of Ballistic Penguins are here to try and collapse.
And they are. Hopefully they bring enough members here. Shen initiates the fight on top of the Ornn. Ragnarok getting taken now as soon as the Black Shield's are down, but the Morgana pops Zanya's Horn coming through. But Shockwave and Zeki finishing off the kill right away, and now Olaf is stuck in the alcove. And the Shen dashes over, and Jinx gets a double kill. And this is the person you want the kills going straight over to as they turn their heads towards the enemy top lane turret.
Like, how does any of this occur? You're not supposed to be in that position. You drop the Rift Herald, immediately back off. You don't know where any of them are. You have Digimon Expert who does not have TP, so you're waiting for him to push out that mid lane and bounce the wave, come back topside. It's not gonna happen. They don't even get the turret for that. Thankfully, the only thing there's nothing even really lost here as they're not able to try to siege onto the turret. It looks like most of this team on the side of Ballistics, they're just gonna go straight for that Infernal Drake here as we go for an Infernal Soul. But taking a look at items, Zeki is incredibly far ahead right now. Infinity Edge, Runons for himself. He has picked up the Last Whisper, which for most people that item is about as useless as a Cole. But when you're going up against Ornn and the Olaf, probably going to need as much armor penetration as possible.
Oh, yeah.
But the team fight execution was not amazing right there. Even there's no Ornn ult here for the side of Stable Geniuses. So right now, Minnesota gets the best of both worlds. He gets to sit in topside. He can push if he wants. He
why
does
is he
have
backing?
ultimate, so he's probably looking for a reset. I just want to check his gold. He's got 1300 gold. If I'm him,
okay, yeah.
just go for the reset. You don't even need the turret. And Stable Geniuses, you need to be able to. The mid wave is not in a great position as they.
Yeah, they're starting this dragon here. They got the Guzzler out. Nice Ashe hole stopping, and the knockup can't even let Kha'Zix go for the smite steal. Man.
That was a blind Ashe ult, by the way.
Hey, man.
How do you even? All right, I've lost it now. I've lost the entire script. I thought something else was supposed to happen, and
Dude, quarantine changes people. Like, these league players are sweating so hard. I'm sure, like, KFC, like, dude, I'm sure KFC activated, like, their Byakugan or whatever, saw through the wall and said, hard read, guys, hard read, to the Ashe hole, and says, look at me. This was probably, like, for the clip on Risen, where they put it on their highlight reel. I don't know.
It's probably as good as the clip of Rando Joe using Caitlyn ult and just completely cleaning a fight near Baron. If you guys know what I'm talking about, if you know, you know. But,
Yeah,
I mean, realistically, while this game is scaling and Stable Geniuses, they are getting really important items, and specifically Ornn is going to be hitting that level 14 breakpoint. Zeki is really becoming an uncontested factor in a lot of these fights. This guy is incredibly far ahead, like we noted before, and with Orianna Ball as well as the Black Shield Flower, I mean, with Zeki becomes almost untouchable with just how much shielding he has, especially with Guardian here. So looking like side of Ballistic Penguins, they just want to siege on the top side. They don't have a wave. Wave is going to start coming in while they're providing a little bit of help in top side. Not much.
All the Forge God getting used here. Tom interrupting it, but they do get the knockup on top of the Shen, but he is fairly tanky as Redemption comes through, gives a huge heal towards the Ornn. Not so much due to Grievous Wounds, but Ragnarok being wasted, Domino forced to flash away, and I Hate Life being the martyr for that horrible situation being placed on board the Stable Geniuses, as on the other side, Ballistic Penguins are losing a little bit of HP as the Vanguard gets pulled in, pops the Gustler, forced to flash away, might get the trade, not able to get it actually, shut down, going straight over to Billup, and so far, Ballistic Penguins hold their ground, try to minimize the casualties to 0. Yeah, they could be Baron. Never mind, Kha'Zix's a little bit low.
But if Gassiop is able to get himself the Scuttle here, he should be able to heal just enough. And it should just be Baron Fear. They don't have a lot of ways to contest this. Domino does not have Flash, and Ragnarok, while he's coming up, there's no Blast Plant. You're gonna have to go for some Axe Toss Miracles.
Oh, TP coming in!
Why are they backing off? What? Okay, they have a lot of blinking health bars, and they're actually giving this up. You have Ash here to try and contest. The Baron is 7,000 HP.
Yeah, this could be a steal from Gassiop. But it looks like he's kind of looking for a way to answer, but not much of an opportunity being given. TP coming in from the Shen has a huge wave with the Cheeks Rocket, able to get 2 kills, a triple kill, and might be looking to get finish off the Ornn. Oh, slowly but surely should be able to, and Orianna, next kill, but the Baron goes straight over to Ballistic Penguins, so, you know, hashtag get baited on the side of Ballistic Penguins as they're able to make a huge turnout, no casualties in that last team fight as they make their way mid.
Yeah, that was an absolutely awful time there for the side of Stable Geniuses. As soon as they're able to push them off the Baron, just back off. You let the Baron reset, you've now wasted a lot of their time. They don't have amazing wave setup before that, so it's looking pretty good for them. But then they just stay. Again, Digimon Emperor is not there for the fight. No TP here for his summoner, so he's not able to attend. He had just gone for a reset. And now, with the Baron just completely shredding the rest of their members, they're not able to respond in kind. So, yet again, 4 members, and now 8,000, almost 9,000 here in favor of Ballistic Penguins. It was looking like a sloppy early game, is looking incredible for them. Zeki's having an incredible game for himself, putting in a lot of work we saw in that last team fight. He's got himself now the Mortal Reminder with an extra 1,000 gold, being able to pick himself up a
Billups versus Smite. Let's go.
He's got the Smite. He's making sure, hey, if Domino's not going to go for it, I can try to potentially maybe try to steal this away. Now, Infernal Drake, again, not going to be too much. I think the most important part here is Infernal Drake going to become another spot where we see a really bad team fight for one of these teams? That's really the question at hand for me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this gives like Gassiop time to stabilize for himself. You know, as we mentioned, his early game presence was very minimal. But I mean, thanks to like Zeki and I guess Minnesota as well, it gives him a lot of time, but he gets caught by the Ash Nails. Black called the Forge God, hitting the Morgana as they're trying to disengage here. Should be able to get away with those Vorpal spikes. As now they kind of have to play the waiting game as they're playing like hiding to seek in this bottom river. They do have Shen TP available.
Shen ultimate. This is a really horrible position right here. If you're the side of Stable Geniuses, you no longer have the Ash ultimate. Ornn ult is gone. And if you're on the side of Ballistic Penguins, you're willing to handshake this away. You have the Baron. Preferably you'd be using this to push into a side wave, but right now, you just wait for them. You have Shen pushing up in topside with a Baron. He can respond anytime he wants to. And right now, Ballistic Penguins, they're on the back foot. They need to find a response, and they don't have any kind of engage tools for themselves. Great job from Gas.
Yeah, able to dodge. Oh, what? And they're wasting time. Ragnarok being burned from Domino. I guess he got scared from something, but I mean, now they're starting the dragon here. Gassiop's not here, but Orianna does have Smite available. Able to smite it away as Ornn finds Gassiop alone. He's trying to buy time with the ultimate, trying to stay alive with the Concrete. Here comes Stand United on top of the Kha'Zix as they get the kill on and I Hate Life, as now they're turning towards more members of Stable Geniuses as Olaf gets slowed. No Ragnarok available, but they're going to go ahead and back off and wait for this minion wave to crash in for them.
That's probably looking. They don't have Baron, so wave clear is going to be a little bit of an issue for how they want to get to these waves. They have a bot wave that they can try to respond with. No real objectives coming up anytime soon. So right now this should just be the fall of the last tier 2 turret for the side of Stable Geniuses. There's you know, the bad side of this is obviously now you're pushed into your base. You can really never overextend.
Yeah.
However, this does mean that there's now going to be a lot of gold that is going to be kind of funneled into them, and specifically it is going to be on the side of Ballistic Penguins to try to overextend and try and go for something on paper. Now in execution, what we've seen throughout this series is it's just been, hey, we're going to overextend and try to look for something. Oh, we made a mistake and now we're just going to get completely punished for it. Now that we've crested the 30-minute mark, we take a look at some of the items here as we're waiting for some of the teams to try to rebound off of the back. Zeki is his 4th item, and KFC is right now in the gutter. He's got the Blade of the Ruin King, he's got his Essence Reaver. He's in a little bit of a confused spot right here. Typically when we see Essence Reaver, you pick up another, you either pick up an ingredient or you pick up another Zeal item here, or if you're gonna go for Blade of the Ruin King first, you're gonna probably more than likely pick up a Rune on second, but didn't seem like that was the case this time around, and he is absolutely way behind when we take a look at some of the gold here. I mean, 14,000 gold versus 9,600 is really obviously not the position you want to be in. And now we take a look at the side of Stable Geniuses. What I want to see them is just Deathball. Your whole 5v5 team composition. You have great engage when you have a spooky ghost coming out from Digimon Emperor. Play around this Veigar in his slope, and you should find relatively easy engages. And specifically, we're looking at picks for them because right now the 4-1 is going to go unanswered unless they're willing to try to commit the TP. But really, Minnesota is just in an absolute banger of a position right now when it comes to this Shen.
Yeah, and also I think they definitely need to be looking for more close range like Ash ultimates. I've been seeing KFC say like use them for, you know, I don't want to say global Ash ultimates because I mean that's not what it is. It's more like 2 screens away, which typically isn't optimal because I mean most of the time you aren't gonna hit that unless they're not paying attention. I think they kind of need to like you said, the death ball. You know, Ash throws it, whoever is not able to move away, they just funnel in on that person, and they should be able to get at least 1 kill off of that person that they Ash ultimate on.
Yeah, that's where they're looking for some kind of engage. Problem here is that the death ball works when you're going to be going forward and looking for something. The problem is they don't have great vision control. Again, they're having to deal with the 4-1, and now with Baron up, if you're on the side of Ballistic Penguins, you're saying, okay, look, some of the damage.
Domino, force the pop Ragnarok, able to use Putrefy to stay alive there, but the cost of only Kha'Zix and Jinx's ultimate there, not so bad, as the Guzzler is going to be used from the Veigar. And now they're going to make their way towards mid lane, while Shen, like you said, this 4-1's working very well for Ballistic Penguins as he's able to make the wave crash onto the inhibitor turret on the bot side, while his team gets to start Baron, so this is wonderful.
I mean, realistically, this is what they want to do with their composition here. They have great wave control on top and mid, and bots, so they're saying, hey, no, you're not really able to step up.
Oh, the flash smite over the wall! Able to steal the Baron! Nicely done from Domino. Oh no, that was something that they definitely needed from Stable Geniuses, and unironically it worked out.
I mean, yeah, you steal the Baron from them, and now it becomes incredibly difficult for them to try and push onto a lot of these waves because of the fact that they have to try to overextend. Problem here is, I don't know how much you actually get from that. Now they can just keep control of the mid wave. They don't have great wave clear and great waves to shove out on the side of Stable Geniuses. So if they want, keep pushing out these waves, and you have another Infernal Drake coming up. So yes, while that does, it stops the game from completely ending, it is not going to be what kind of brings back Stable Geniuses back into this game. They're going to need a couple of better team fights, as well as you need to be able to, I think probably putting gold into Ash right now is going to be a little bit of a lost cause. Play around Digimon Emperor. This guy is super far ahead. We take a look at even just some of his statistics. This guy's got 1,000 AP. He's going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage. The Infernal Drake is up. You don't even need your jungler over there. Now double Infernal Drake, kind of in an awkward position. Again, the waves, the most important part here, and they aren't really kind of looking to try and keep them either in a long, kind of keep them on their side of the map and keep it a long lane so people have to overextend. they're not really looking to death ball, so kind of feels a little bit confused. Thankfully, a lot of the members are getting some upgrade items. It doesn't look like KFC is going to go for the Infinity Edge, so we're not going to be seeing that being upgraded. But really, I would hope that Grange gets another item to upgrade with the Ornn, because updating a Redemption is absolutely awful.
Yeah, it feels pretty bad, and as we noticed, nice shockwave on top of Digimon. That's what they wanted, but he's able to flash away and trying to peel backwards. Nice call the Forge God, buying his team some time. He's grabbing tank. It's going to take a while for them to finish him off. And Flower Petal picks up the kill, but now the Jinx splashes forward. Has to be careful, takes a huge amount of damage from the big RW. That's a 1-for-1. No, it's not even a 1-for-1 trade. They only lose Ornn, but I mean, they keep Vagar alive, which relatively is kind of their main goal at this point on.
Yeah, I mean, that's their main tank right there. So if you're on the side of Ballistic Penguins, you're saying, okay, look, we can look to push top and bot are starting to stack. Hopefully Gassiov goes and fixes that up, but that was kind of their, that kind of felt like their play on the side of Stable Geniuses if they wanted to try and get themselves back into this game, and didn't look like it went too amazingly. Now, still able to wave clear here, but now with a lot of cooldowns coming back up, we take a look. It seems like even with 3 minutes on the clock for either objective, Baron or another Drake, it seems I'm going to be predicting that we're going to be fighting probably around that bot side inhibitor. Important thing to note, Digimon Emperor does not have the flash here, so we're looking for potential engages. Build-up, I think, is going to have to come out with a pretty amazing shockwave. That's
yeah. I mean, that's what burnt Digimon's initial flash earlier on, was really good shockwave. Called him out on it, and we do see Ballistic Penguins kind of hovering towards the top side of the map. Baron's not going to be up anytime soon, I believe.
No, so you still got another.
Yeah.
It's not. The timers are not really looking. Really weird that Ballistic Penguins are willing to just handshake this way. We're getting closer and closer to 40 minutes, and while I was, we were talking about the better scaling options here for the side of the Stable Geniuses. Yeah. I think it's really kind of strange that we're seeing Ballistic Penguins kind of saying, okay, well, we're not going to overextend with the large lead that we have. I mean, Jinx is full items. The only way she's getting stronger is she either drops her boots or, the next 2 levels, level 17 and level 18, giving her some smaller stat bonuses, that they are not using their lead more effectively to kind of brute force Stable Geniuses around the map and push them to their limits. They still have inhibitor turrets up, and they don't have a great way to engage other than surviving the first round of attacks coming out from Stable Geniuses. So I'm hoping that now that they have a fully elixired up, full item Jinx, that this is where that they're saying, okay, we can finally fight, we're willing to take this trade. But kind of feels like they maybe they're feeling a little bit hesitant. I don't know why. Maybe they want Billet to feel a little bit more empowered, but even Gassiop is doing really, really well for himself on the Cosmic.
Yeah, I mean, Gassiop's able to get some items under his spell. Did you see Call the Forge God being used now? Actually catches on top, has to dodge the I mean, hey man. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that. Like I said, they need to be able to throw those ultimates within lock screen camera range for the Ashe, or else it gives them enough time to dodge it.
I don't think they need to do that. The problem here is that they're playing up against someone like Kha'Zix, who has a lot of great ways to try to mitigate a lot of the CC. Not only can he go invisible, so it makes it even harder to try and go for CC, but that Ornn ultimate is highly inaccurate, especially as you get longer and longer ranges out from it. So yeah, I just think that is, again, another one of those plays where they're saying, okay, we can go for this, but what do you get from killing Gassiop right there? You take a member off that is kind of roaming in between the jungle, not really able to get too much in terms of, maybe you get, cool, you got 300 gold for yourself, but it doesn't seem like they're really all that coordinated for how they want to try and win this game. 39 minutes, we're seeing the Drake potential Infernal Soul Point here for the side of Ballistic Penguins. You're going to need to contest this if you're on the side of Stable Geniuses. This is probably going to be where it ends, and it looks like they might even trade this for Baron, but they're not doing it.
Yeah. I don't think, I think they have enough time for Ballistic Penguins to finish that Infernal Drake. Yeah, it's already done. I don't even think they do this Baron relatively fast on the side of...
They should be able to get this. The thing is
oh,
hit.
Yeah.
if I'm on the side of Stable Geniuses, that's a pretty worthwhile trade. The problem here is now Ballistic Penguins did not utilize the proper timings. As soon as you see them go for Baron and you've already got the soul, you take this massive bot wave that's about to crash and you start forcing for structures. You start to go for that inhibitor because now you have them kind of sit back saying, all right, we're going to give up these structures, we're going to give up some necessary structures just so we can get ourselves the Baron. And you create this artificial lane where you've got the inhibitor for yourself. Awesome. Now you can go and sit in some other lanes. Now with Baron on the table, it does, again, makes it a little bit hard for them to try and close out the games when it comes to wave management. But, I mean, Infernal Soul's really good when you have a poke composition. But on the side of Ballistic Penguins, you're not really able to utilize it all that much. You're looking at like Orianna and really Zeki to get a lot of poke off with some of their longer range abilities. But this Infernal Soul, the most important part is that the Jinx is just getting a lot of free stats here when it comes to itemization.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, since they do have Baron, like you said, it kind of slows the game down and gives Stable Geniuses some breathing room for the Ashe, which eventually she is going to be able to complete her build.
Oh, wait a minute.
Nice cage. Oh, she'll be able to blow up the Morgana, forcing the Zanya's Putrefy on top of the Ornn as they're slowly not going to actually force a fight, which I guess works out for them. Cage slowing it down. Yeah, nice pick. They get gassed up with the W on the Veigar. And that's, I mean, that's a solid pick for themselves. They're willing to take that, and they're going to go ahead and back off.
That's such a weird fight. What is Philip doing on the bot side? He's pushing it up against Ornn. Ornn does have to blow the TP, and so, like I was saying, you're forcing for those necessary structures. It looks like they're trying to go for a flank here, but the TP is a little bit too soon. Remember, there's a lot of movement speed that you get from the TP, thanks to some of the newest changes to the Summoner spell.
Yeah.
But looks like we're just trading 1-for-1, and without Orianna there to try and set up a pretty stacked front line, you're not able to have that massive shockwave that now this team is afraid of. Now, it does seem like it was a pretty worthwhile trade for the side of Stable Geniuses. They're able to get themselves an inhibitor turret there for free, really only trading their jungler. But even taking a look at this, when I was talking about the free statistics, you know, you're getting about 12% additional ability power and damage. Zeki is actually still behind KFC when it comes to itemization and damage, just on raw attack damage. Yes, Zeki does have some great modifiers when it comes to using your rockets on the fish bones and getting a lot of attack speed from the minigun, but KFC has that same thing where Ranger's Focus is giving it a lot of auto attacks in one, and while he is down 100 CS, he's still up about 100 in terms of... Okay, wait. Alright. So he was at 465 AD, and I'm pretty sure Baron was giving him that many stats. And he's still... I mean, Zeki's 365, KFC is 377. So, I'm hoping... I'm kind of wondering where this lead for Zeki is going. What are we using it for? Are we just having him clear waves? Because if we're doing that and we're just splitting a bunch of minion XP and gold, then we're allowing him to go so far behind. Yeah. I mean, we're still sitting at 7,000 gold, but gold becomes increasingly more irrelevant as the game continues to go further and further on, and it looks like... I mean, we keep saying that objectives are going to be where either of these teams are going to try and make their mark and finally take the stance to try and end the game, but maybe Elder Drake is where we see that kind of come to fruition, as most of these objectives have gone mostly uncontested for both sides, barring a few of them.
Yeah, I mean, this game is, you know, dragging out quite a bit. Hopefully, we will see, you know, whether or not Ballistic Penguins, with their massive lead, like you said, are able to close it out. And I mean, this just gives enough time for Stable Geniuses to stabilize themselves, you know, as the game progresses. Already, like you said, Ashe is able to pump out a little bit more damage than Jinx already. Digimon is, you know, keeps on stacking with his Q and passive, that his ability power is going to continue to rise. It's already at 1,079.
I mean, I'm kind of wondering where the breakpoint here is going to be for Stable Geniuses. The great thing here is that KFC does have himself 4 items now, so he's able to at least somewhat contest when it comes to damage. We're taking a look at Digimon Emperor. This guy's got himself the dead man's plate. Oh my god. Okay.
Dude, he's zooming. He is.
So he's got a lot of slows, right?
Yeah.
He's got his Frogman, he's got his Super Soaker and his Spooky Ghost. He's got the Dead Man Slow that comes with the auto attack. Weirdly enough, they don't have a great wave pressure. They have open inhibitors here, so what I would love to see is Gassiop actually doesn't even bother with the team fight and actually backs out, tries to sneak for inhibitors and forces some kind of summoner spells, but weirdly enough, they're giving inside track for this team to try and pincer them. There's no top wave turrets there to try and defend for them, so really awkward position here from the side of Stable Geniuses. They're trading for an inhibitor turret.
Oh, the flash taunt on top. Digimon might be able to get the kill. And he gets taken out from Gassiop. Nice pick. And the Jinx picks up the kill on top of the Orb here. Nice knockout coming in from the Orb, but not going to be able to stay alive. Minnesota finishes up the kill. Zicky is running it down so fast, gets excited, go crazy, go stupid, and that's going to be the ace. That should be game. Stand United on top of Philip, and they're going to run it down towards the top lane inhibitor, and that was quite the explosive fight. You know, it was kind of like Western standoff where both teams are waiting to pull the trigger, and there you have it. Ballistic Penguins are like, all right, let's stop messing around. We're going to pull the trigger and end this game, and they should be able to finish here.
That was just awful positioning there from the side of Stable Geniuses. Why are we overextending for a mid inhibitor turret? We have Elder that's spawning. You have second Baron that's kind of coming up for them as a potential win condition when it comes to pushing out on waves. But they overextend. They go for an inhibitor turret where specifically Digimon Emperor goes down first, and that is where a lot of your damage is coming from. This guy is so stacked with ability power. And even though we saw some lights of hope there for KSA to try to come back, the team fight was just not there. I Hate Life and Domino really just kind of fell off as the game continued to go on, and the Ornn ultimates just were not effective whatsoever. So you might have drafted yourself some pretty great pretty great tools, but the most important part is execution, and they just completely kind of dropped the ball there.
Yeah, they definitely blundered what they had going for them. I mean, props to Zeki, and honestly, nice pick coming in from Minnesota in that last fight, able to get that flash taunt, take out the most important member on Stable Geniuses, and that essentially led to their victory. So, you know, congratulations to them. Game one, you know, it's still best of 3, so there's always a chance that Stable Geniuses go back to the drawing board, pick up something different, and are able to turn it out in game 2 in order to get to game 3. But yeah, I mean, any other comments you have for this game?
I mean, great job for the side of Ballistic Penguins. I was expecting them to win the series just off of how strong that they've been performing on the back half of the split. But, I mean, they kind of gave themselves a little bit more trouble than necessary with some of the draft decisions. But, I mean, they pulled off a win. I would have loved to have seen them play a little bit more aggressive with their lead, and hopefully we'll see something like that in game 2. But I mean, again, I'm waiting to see what Stable Geniuses come back, because it kind of felt like after 20 minutes they were they kind of clocked out for a little bit. They were like, okay, well, we're just gonna scale, we're gonna bleed out, and again, a lot of this game came down to massive positioning errors at different points of the game.
Yeah, definitely, and I mean, it's unfortunate for them. But with that being considered, I think we're gonna go on a quick break while we prepare ourselves for game 2. Stick with us. We got an exciting best of 3 on our hands. You know, game 1 just finished. It was a 45-minute game. So I can imagine the next plausible 2 games could be just as exciting. So stick with us, folks. Grab something to drink, and we'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everybody. It's the one and only Monster still here with Alk Battery for this interesting series on our hands. Straight on the table laid out for us for game 2, already in picks and bans. What's poppin', Alk Battery?
Nothing much, man. I mean, the series is popping off pretty well. We had a really long game at 46 minutes. Really exciting, but kind of just seeing the same kind of bans go through. Stable Geniuses yet again banning Malzahar. Galio, we're seeing another written ban, probably yet again going to be Yumi and Jin. So, if you're on the side of blue side, do we see more priority for Olaf? You do have first pick here, so Ornn could be up on the table. Wouldn't be surprised if we even see Veigar even being picked up first. So, yeah, it looks like Ornn is going to be the final ban. So we're dropping the Yumi, which means potentially could slip in on blue side if they really are looking for it.
Yeah, they could always look for it.
Don't first pick it, for the love of God.
Dude, let's see it. First pick Yumi.
Please,
honestly,
no.
they could. I mean, would you rather the first pick? I think a first pick Olaf's fine. Oh!
Okay. I mean,
It's not locked in yet.
look, Zach is great still, has plenty of great matchups, and even in the ones that he loses, he still has a pretty fantastic way for him to kind of find himself for really great team fights. Problem here is, now on the side of Ballistic Penguins, they've gotten themselves the Shen and the Yumi.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than, Ballistic Penguins picking Poppy and then Zach feels really bad to play, but
The Zach would feel bad, but like, if I'm playing that matchup, I'm not I'm playing it for the engage. Like, I think he'd be fine now. The Jax pick is really interesting here, as we're again sacking some of the bot lane priority here on the side of Stable Geniuses. Jax is actually an amazing kind of champion versus Shen. Will just bully him out of lane. Now, the first early levels, I'd say probably around level 5, level 6 is where we start to see Jax start to pick up in terms of damage. Once he has a lot more points into his leap strike, it becomes incredibly difficult to try and deal with him.
yeah.
And now we're seeing the Jinx being picked up yet again for Zeki.
I mean, Zeki played rather well on the Jinx, considering, he didn't have any kills for the first 10 minutes of the game. He toughed it out with the Kolbai, and, I mean, he played fine, I think. But the Yumi would be interesting to see here, a little bit more sustain. You got the cat sitting on top of you, providing, some slows every once in a while, and of course the adaptive bonuses. And we see the...
Oh, no! No!
Let's go! Alright,
Oh,
the Cosmic Ban.
Alright, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess if we're really that traumatized by it, but the thing that I'm looking here for Stable Geniuses is how they are actually going to be able to kill any of these members, because I'm seeing a lot of tanky members, which become really difficult for champions like Yumi to escape, but how are we going to actually... I guess the plan here is we're just going to overload them with the amount of crowd control, make sure that they're not able to interact with any of our champions, and the longer that we lock them down, the more likely it is that we're able to kill them and they're not able to just run away utilizing the you and me kind of movement speed that you get from the heals. But I'm so I like Stable Geniuses draft so far, and so far that it has a lot of great crowd control, it has great ways to find themselves into a team fight, but I need to see them kind of step up when it comes to damage. I think Orianna would be a great pick for them, but specifically for ADC, we might just see Ashe again.
Oh,
And
it's
it
gonna
looks
be
like we're
fun.
going for Senna. Okay.
Well, this is interesting because we see like Ballistic Penguins lock into Kindred, and that's a champion that you're reliant on your all 3 lanes to either be even or ahead. And if that's not the case, then you're gonna get like destroyed without getting any stacks for your passive, and then you feel like a horrible human being because
So
you're not
Kindred
playing
actually
League.
has a pretty okay time into Zac. It seems a little bit like non-intuitive to be like, well, I mean, Zac is a really nice bruiser, and he's able to kind of just lock Kindred down, and most times that is the case, but the amount of damage that you're seeing on the side of Ballistic Penguins, you're going to need that Kindred ult to try and stall fights out for really Jinx to start revving up, to get excited, get all 3 stacks of her Q passive. You're also looking at Shen to get that Stand United. You're burning through a lot of these cooldowns for the side of Stable Geniuses. If they're not able to get off on their burst, where you have Zac coming in with the Elastic Slingshot, you have all of these abilities from the other members, that this team starts to fall apart. Now, yes, Senna is there as kind of a little bit of a late game insurance policy. She is immobile, but is able to put down a lot of damage, is able to heal, so the fight can go longer and longer. Things like Conqueror become incredibly important as the fight continues. But
Yeah.
there's a serious lack of upfront damage from this team that I'm afraid that Ballistic Penguins, I don't think this is going to be another 45-minute scaling game. We might just see all the lanes collapse before 20-25 minutes.
Yeah, that could be the case, and in which case this puts a potential quick 2-0 for Ballistic Penguins. But, I mean, I'm sure the Jax, like you said, has a fairly easy time early on into the Shen, once you said level 5. Able to apply a lot of pressure, so it's interesting to see whether or not Gassiop is able to path a little bit more efficiently compared to what we saw in game 1, and that, you know, at least provide some pressure there. Because I think earlier on, I believe Domino did a rather good job at applying pressure towards, you know, top side of the map. Bot lane not so much, but I think, you know, he fairly had a very good leash on top of top lane. Was able to control that early game earlier on.
I love this draft as much as the next person. We might even we heard a little bit of a discussion of a potential lane swap, so could be that we're looking for people to kind of swap lanes for kind of a different experience. I think Jax is going to be the key point here. We saw I Hate Life on the Orin in game 1, and didn't seem like he had a great time. He got a lot of assistance from Domino, but really couldn't take that anywhere when it came to the pressure. And Jax actually does really well into Kindred kind of level 11. Kindred does have a really hard time trying to deal with Jax, trying to keep him off of her with that leap strike, and counter strike ends up being incredibly difficult to try to handle as the game continues on and on. But yeah. I mean, for Ballistic Penguins, this is a pretty nice draft. I think you're gonna have to worry about Nautilus and about Zac and about this Jax. But the Yuumi, I think, should provide a lot of kind of crowd control or crowd peel for this team to try to at least back off from a lot of fights and just wait out, utilize some of the cooldowns. That, as like I was saying, we're waiting for them to kind of ramp up in fighting.
Yeah, I mean, definitely seems to be the case here, as you know, everyone's ready, gonna be able to transition to the Rift soon. And honestly, yeah, I mean, I feel like Stable Geniuses, like you mentioned it before, like there's not a lot of upfront damage. You do have some scaling with the Senna. You know, I'm more worried like their engagements to be more explosive. You know, with Nautilus ult, Shockwave, and then Elastic Slingshot. But as long as like Ballistic Penguins are able to survive that with Lamb's Respite, things could go horrible for Stable Geniuses here.
I'm worried for how much damage this team's actually going to be putting out. KFC looks like it's going to be dropping in the mid lane, but you could say, hey, look, we can try to scale, just have Jax in a side lane. Shen can't ever match Jax in a side lane. The damage is going to be way too much for him, and he's just going to be waiting for Stand United cooldown to go off. But realistically, the way fights are going to go down and the way that we've seen, at least so far, how objectives are played, one team is going to get priority over one of these objectives. They're going to look to fight, and one of these teams is going to mess it up. But, I mean, just on paper alone, Ballistic Penguins has a way better draft this time around. They have ways to try to deal with Zac. Veigar should have really, Billup anyway, should have a pretty great time trying to set up his cage. Now, it is going to be kind of having to be a little bit preemptive. I think Vision again is going to be really important, which we didn't see was too much of a factor last game. So the cage does have a little bit of a load up time, so I don't think it's going to be landing quite fast enough that we stop Zac in the middle of his jump. But having things like that Veigar cage kind of keeps Orianna and Senna at arm's length, while Jax is just going to get shredded, kind of going in before his team potentially. Yeah.
So with that being said, we are going to be taking a short break while we transition on to the Rip. So stick with us. We shouldn't be too long. You know, while we wait for spectator delay and stuff to allow us to load in. So stick with us. I hope you guys are enjoying the show as always, and we'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everybody. Due to Riot's wonderful client system, as we all know, our wonderful broadcaster Joe was not able to make it into the client, but here at Risen, we do not know how to give up, so we're going to go ahead and run this through Discord Nitro. So,
No way.
unofficial sponsor, let's go. Anyways.
Unofficial.
We're
Really
on the
unofficial.
Rift.
Hard unofficial.
Yeah, hard unofficial, by the way. Anyways, we're on the Rift. We're still going to be able to try to broadcast the game for you guys, so, I mean, you guys kind of got to tough it out for us, you know. Life's tough.
We're sorry.
Anyways,
We're sorry. Obviously, this
yeah.
is not the way that we would have expected, but sometimes a small indie company just ends up kind of messing some things up.
Yeah. Anyways, I mean, bottom side stars for both junglers here. In game 2 for Ballistic Penguins versus the Geniuses here.
Stable geniuses. Stable geniuses.
Yeah, stable. I mean, I don't know if they were stable last game, but you know.
They were they stabilized.
Hey, yeah, you're right. You're right.
They stabilized an 8,000 gold lead for like 20 plus minutes. That's pretty stable. But
yeah.
hopefully coming into this game, we see something a little bit different in terms of flavor. We're seeing yet again Domino going for a 3-buff kind of clear here. Important thing to note, thankfully this time around he actually has a way. He has actually a top lane that he can play around. This Jax can be a potential carry for this team if things around the map do not go as planned, and specifically when you have something like the Senna and bot side, it's definitely a lane that you're willing to kind of just, hey, well, we'll handshake. We're looking to just give that one away. You have a Yumi on the opposite side. Great looking for things, but it goes a little bit wide.
Yeah, a little bit far off for the Ballistic. Unfortunate, but you know, these type of things happen, and I mean, so far this Jinx Yumi lane should be rather safe as long as, you know, the Jinx does not get hooked. Oh, speaking of which, gets a nice hook on top of Zeki. Should be looking for more. They don't quite have enough damage for it yet. Ignite going to be popping on top of the Jinx. Trying to get the heal in, forcing the center of the pop heal, but the Racked Camera takes us back to the top lane, as we do see I Hate Life trying to stay alive. That's going to be first blood going straight over to the Gassiop, the one and only. And so far, that's going to be Ballistic Penguins picking up first blood for themselves.
Yeah, great job right there. I Hate Life, he ended up pushing out that wave, and Gassiop comes in with the punish. Now, a lot of summoners used. Every single summoner except the mid laners is gone here from the side of Ballistic Penguins. And while they do invest a lot, this just means that now, I Hate Life, he's not going to be set back too far behind. This wave is not in an awful position. Realistically speaking, even if I take a look at this wave, he loses about 2 to 3, maybe even 4 minions here. Obviously going down is not what you want to see early on, but able to find himself in a pretty great position, all things considered. Now, getting himself that kill, Gassiop sets himself up pretty nicely. He's already got his first stack here. We're looking for a Dominope is going to try to kind of find his first gank. Thankfully enough, he is playing, again, like a tank champion, so he's does not really need to look for early ganks. However, versus a Kindred, you need to find ways to try to at least stay relevant in the game.
Yeah, and there's obviously some play around the Kindred stacks. Hopefully that, you know, his solo lanes have enough prio for him to contest that. But with all things considered, we're looking towards the spot lane, especially since, you know, Digimon Emperor and Grage wasted a lot of summoners on that.
They're just emoting, boys. Just emoting.
Dude, we're just vibing on the bot lane Rift.
You know, sometimes I wish I could do that. I wish I could just have relaxing farm lanes. I wish I could just play Sen. Honestly, I don't know how you feel about it. I'll hold that as Domino getting a little bit pushed out of his jungle. Gassiop does not have any kind of mid priority right now. Potentially setting up
Cage actually lands on top of KFC, but she's gonna be alright. Or they're gonna be alright, my bad.
Oriana's a girl, but we don't know the player behind it, so you never know. You never know.
Dude, it's 2020. I can't assume anything.
Alright, I'm just gonna let that sit. I'm just gonna ignore that one. But the important part here is that Billup doesn't actually have any kind of mana to respond, so realistically the Cage is about as much help as he can throw into that lane. That's a pretty nice wave that's stacking for the side of Ballistic Penguins. If they want, since they now know that Scrying Bloom came out, they know that, hey, jungler's probably bot side, although they're continuing to push this, even with the ward in that brush. I'd be pretty scared with no summoners on the Senna to try to push this up. It seems like Gassiop's not going to go for any kind of punish. Taking a look, I just want to take a look at kind of stacks, because that's the most important thing on Kindred, right? You're looking for stacks. Looks like he is going to go for it.
He has one stack so far.
It looks like they're gonna maybe go for this gank.
Yeah, I mean,
the vision is there.
they got the vision. Directed camera is taking us away, so not much probably gonna go on here. As I Hate Life is just trying to stabilize himself on the top side of the map here, while Minnesota's doing fairly well for himself here.
He's doing well for himself. He has a wave that's coming right back into him, which is perfect right here. Gassiop's actually going for a Baron start here, or a Dragon start. Sorry, so Infernal Drake early on is really nice for this team. You get a little bit more damage. Zach's here for the re-engage.
Oh,
I'm able to find too much.
gets the counter gank, but overall, now they know. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, counter
much.
1v1, Pog.
Yeah. Important thing to note, Digimon Emperor has not gone for the typical fasting Senna. Now, statistically, this is the better version of Senna, where you are able to just farm for souls. Because of some of the changes, especially since they dropped the spawn rate, at last hitting minions is just completely not worth it. It hasn't been for a really long time. I personally don't agree with this pick being utilized in this way. I love Senna and all, and I love it being played with a Nautilus, but one where you're playing...
Don't entering Nautilus, you know? Yeah.
This doesn't seem particularly amazing. Now, they try to go for a bot lane dive. The wave is not really in any position. They're probably looking to try and get them to overextend for a certain wave, but
Yeah.
it ends up not coming into fruition. Important thing to note here, KFC is able to get it. Some alone time with the turret. Shouldn't get the turret here or any kind of plates, but something interesting. We haven't seen too many blue buff handoffs. This is second blue. We're not giving this to a mid laner? I know there'd be a lot of question marks for some people. But
I mean, sometimes you gotta give the junglers the extra resources, because you know your jungler will say, well,
really, they have jungle camps that spawn incredibly quickly.
yeah.
They've got really great ways to just grab a whole bunch of experience off of the map. I'm willing to say, like, give me the blue buff. I want to be able to find my lane. Now, to be fair, KFC does have Lost Chapter, so he's able to at least kind of stave off some of the mana problems as every level goes forward, but not too amazing. Now I want to take a look at this top wave in particular. With this top wave being as it is, it's slowly going to start pushing, and specifically we're looking where Gassiop is. He's sitting topside. Now, they should have seen the Scryer Bloom go topside, so they know that Kindred is there.
Yeah.
And we're just seeing Domino kind of play on the opposite side of where Kindred is, which is important because right now, he's underleveled and will just lose that 1v1, and even in 2v2s, I'd say, versus Kindred, will just very quickly lose those fights. And you don't want Kindred to kind of get a running start into the game.
Yeah, and I believe Gassiop's going to go for his second stack, as we see again going down on mid lane. Nothing to get an auto attack on top. Does get the melee, but...
What?
Whoa, that was a preemptive flash coming up from Billa, but... I mean, he stays alive in the gang and makes Domino's time worth its while, burning that 5-minute cooldown, as we do see Kindred heading towards her Raptors.
I mean, cool, I guess. I guess we're just using... Now, I understand he's trying to avoid the command shockwave there, making sure that if I am going to be dealt damage, there's probably going to be... if I get hit by that, more than likely I'm going to be spending an extended amount of time being crowd controlled and stunned, so... I understand some of the fear, but it just seems a little bit preemptive, especially when you have the cage right in front of your turret and you're kind of playing around a potential turret dive. It does not look too amazing. However, saves himself. That is going to be one note. I hope that this is another lane that Domino ends up revisiting, because we've seen in game one where, yes, we blew the flash from KFC or we blew the flash from Billup, but no junglers really come to try to punish that. Now, to be fair, they are playing things like Kha'Zix and Olaf, which don't have amazing gank potential, so could be questionable as bot lane being set up. Gassiop.
Yeah, Gassiop sitting. We're going to go ahead and jump on top of the Senna, rooted from the Yumi ult, and the Nautilus Abyssal knockup able to buy some time. Jinx ultimate not going to go through. Senna trying to stay alive. The TP's coming in from Jax. And counter strike going through, right through. Lamps Fire on top, getting the heal ready set up. Shockwave on top of the Kindred, locks down Gassiop, and they're turning towards it. Gassiop able to stay alive a little bit longer, but K picks up the kill, and now they're turning towards Shen. A double kill for K, and this could be another kill as K gets a triple kill. But the Veigar, huge cage, able to lock it down here as the ultimate primordial burst does a lot of damage towards the Orianna.
Wait, he can
One
leave.
more auto away. Oh, direct the camera takes it away, but
he's fine.
able to stay alive. Yeah, he's fine. He's out of there.
All right. Great thing right there. KSA picks up 3 kills for himself. Obviously not amazing. The most important part is that Digimon Emperor ends up landing a pretty crucial last embrace. Senna's W ends up rooting the Kindred, and now Kindred has to overextend for that fight. We saw that TP. Kindred's in a really awkward position where she's in between minions. She's waiting to potentially go in on the Senna in this bot lane, and while yes, KFC picks up a whole bunch of kills, 3-0, 300 gold bounty for himself, able to kind of finish out his Luden's Echo pretty early. Problem here is you see a lot of kind of more spread out kills, specifically Shen's able to pick up some more kills on the backside there. So
Yeah.
it was a great beginning of that fight for the side of Stable Geniuses, but as that fight continued to go on and on, Ballistic Penguins are able to try to claw back some of the victories. So now we see them contesting over this dragon. Need to be really careful. Kindred's getting lower and lower. She does have Yumi.
Yep. And director camera is taking it away, but we missed the steal. Yeah, nice steal coming in from Domino, and now they're continuing the fight. They pick up the Vanguard. Kill goes over to Digimon. They're turning towards Gassiop. He's found with his pants down in his own jungle, but the Jack's able to bounce over the wall, looking to get the kill, but the Zoomies is keeping up. Kindred alive. Shockwave not going to connect, and now Gassiop should be able to stay alive.
Yeah, and that was just... It got a little bit too bad right there. Amazing job from Domino to just find that steal from over the wall. Jumps in, is able to find it, and they're even able to get themselves a kill. Now, Minnesota's taking a lot of damage from turret, starting to warm up now, kind of equalizing some of that health disadvantage. But great job from the side of Domino to really be there. And yet again, Digimon Emperor, is just completely zoning Gassiop out of a lot of these fights, chunking him out before they start. And because of how Senna operates in a lot of these team fights, we're seeing that great sustain start to come through, where we see some poke coming out from Yumi, maybe some from Kindred, but it gets completely negated thanks to the Dawning Shadow. And Dawning Shadow and the Piercing Darkness just completely make it incredibly difficult for this team to try and fight around objectives like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, we see Gassiop. He's keeping up in CS against his jungle opponent, but I mean, we see Domino putting in a lot of work. Did get that ref turret early on. Stole the dragon, as you said. So far.
Wait,
jungle...
that top turret has 23 HP.
Yeah, you just gotta sneeze on it.
Just like, yeah, just go for it. Come on. I mean, the good thing about this, if you are on Jax and you're saying, hey, I want to keep this lane up here, if you don't want to get that first turret brick, as well as some of the turret plating,
yeah.
The argument that you could make is, I want to keep Shen in this lane as long as possible. The problem is, you're playing Jax and you want to keep this lane here as long as possible, so that Shen does not have an incentive to leave, saying, hey, I've already sacked my top turret, I might as well just go leave and look for something else.
Yeah, definitely, and they're gonna allow this turret to stay alive. Might be able to look to finish it off, but I think they might as well finish it off now while the plates are still up. It's already 14 minutes, plates are gone. So I guess a bit of a missed gold opportunity available for I Hate Life, but we see a lot of people converging to the bottom side of the map here and might be looking for a bottom lane dive.
They have no clue that this is happening. All of the vision is in favor.
Oh, Pick Ward able to spot him out, and they're gonna just dip straight out of there.
I mean, like, what are you supposed to do? Gassiop needs to be incredibly careful here. I don't know why he's coming into his bot side jungle.
This guy has some big cojones. Shockwave able to land on top, and that's a dead Kindred in her own jungle. Unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was playing with his monitor off or something.
I don't know. Maybe he had a jungler that could actually avoid some skill shots. Just saying. But I mean,
it should have been the Cosmic. It's the Cosmic man, bro.
Look. He has no. It's really awkward for him. Flame aside.
Yeah.
He has no jungle assistance right there. His bot lane's kind of backed up. The turret is in favor. Again, vision being really key. He has no idea of... He has a general idea of, hey, Nautilus and the Orianna are there, but can't really see that he's... Can't really... There's no reason for him to walk into that side of the jungle. You're saying, okay, there's 4 people now sitting in bot side waiting to try and tower dive my bot lane. I'm just going to sack it, go top side, maybe look for a scuttle, try to get pressure so that maybe, just maybe, we can get another Rift Herald for ourselves and set ourselves up for some kind of success. Maybe get Billup out of this lane so that he can get some gold for himself with that turret going down. But instead, ends up kind of giving over the kill that they were looking for on the side of Stable Geniuses. And with Dragon coming up, now they've set themselves up really, really nicely. You've already got the Yomus. I would have loved to have seen Umbral Glaive, honestly. It's just such a great item. It's incredibly cheap. Just completely negates a lot of the vision. To be fair, there's not a lot of vision being placed right now, but
Yeah, I mean, better to be safe than sorry, right?
yeah.
But we do see. I mean, despite Gassiop getting caught earlier, still able to maintain his CS lead against Zach. But I don't think that's relevant for Domino. I don't think he's that focused on farming a lot of cans. He's kind of like
The important thing here is that Gassiop has 3 stacks of his passive.
Yeah,
He's
not a champion yet. He's not a champion yet.
I mean, he is somewhat still a champion as the Rift Herald is being started here. Gassiop's not in a position to kind of respond, so this should just be going over to the side of Stable Geniuses. I would love to see them crash this mid. Now, they need to I would love for them again to play around their waves. Top lane's about to start stacking in their favor. If they want, just sit in mid lane. Looks like Jax is going to be the one with the Rift Herald. Just sit in mid lane, drop this, be ready to respond as the bot lane kind of going to be the trade here for the in terms of objectives. They're spawning it, getting themselves at mid priority, saying, hey, you need to respond to mid, and it looks like Billup is going to be the one to do that. Now, I just think Ballistic's probably just going to be willing to give this up. We can even see that Gassiop is just pathing in the top side. Just try and respond.
Oh, the Jinx Rocket almost steals it?
It was like 200 HP, and then I got to 50 HP. So, it wasn't too hard. It wasn't...
Not even close. I mean, I think at this point, if you're Gassiop, you're kind of like frantically looking for that last stack, because 4 stacks for Kindred feels really good on that champion.
4 stacks makes champion feel incredibly useful. You see tried to set up, final chapter out.
Final chapter able to push away. They're a little bit too deep for this. Oh, the flash coming out from Billup gonna be on cooldown now.
And the thing that I was taking a note of is these champions are incredibly tanky. You have things like the Orianna and the Senna, which are providing amazing sustain for them. Zach within himself is able to sustain thanks to his passive and thanks to all the bloblets that are coming out. And the problem here is, early on, you're not going to have a lot of damage to try and meet them. This is where that scaling element comes into play. You need to wait for when you start to hit those critical damage items. Specifically, Blade of the Ruin King for Gassiop is going to be massive. He's going to do so much damage when it comes to trying to just peel and try to burn down champions like Jax and Nautilus that you need to be able to wait for it. And even Billup doesn't even have a lot of items. Yes, he has great utility with the Super Soaker, but it is not the damage efficient item, kind of like Luden's, and like we see from KFC, going for that needlessly rod second. Probably going to be picking up the Rabadons.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of gold available for Billup, like you said, and at this point, I'm wondering what the next move is here for Stable Geniuses here.
For Stable Geniuses, I think that this is going to be largely topside focused when it comes to Domino, KFC, and Hate Life. Digimon is, again, playing a more supportive role here. Jax coming in with a flank.
Nice flash coming out from Zeki, able to stay alive a little bit longer. Standing United coming in. They need more members to help support the side of Stable Geniuses as Jax is taken down and Zach's on the run. Gets slow, jumps over the wall, should be able to stay alive there. And they trade one and give the kill straight over to, I believe, the Veigar.
Yep. Now this is, again, something that I had brought up in draft where the Jax and the Zac are going to go incredibly far forward, and the other members are not going to be able to respond. This time it was a turret there, as we see.
Oh, Shockwave is huge! K gets one, and Gaspiel is on the death screen, and now it's another kill going over to the Zac. A double kill, and that's another double kill going straight over to K. It's 4 for 1. Realistically, and they're looking more for the Jinx. She's slowed. Gonna keep on pestering her with the ball. They have a little bit more time. Should be able to get the ace. And nicely done from Stable Geniuses. Able to call out the boldness of Ballistic Penguins.
Yeah, they just overextend for that fight. You already utilized your TP from Billup. You're not able to really try to re-engage. You don't have a lot of those summoners thanks to the work of Hate Life and Domino earlier on, and you're saying, okay, look, we got the turret, and we're willing to trade our mid laner for that. But in the end, I mean, they just get completely wiped. That was a complete ace there for the side of Stable Geniuses. Specifically, KFC is having an amazing time on this Orianna, really showing off. Didn't have too much on that first game we saw him on the Ashe, but now we see him on that lane swap. He is completely controlling his fights, and specifically, I don't think that Ballistic Penguins are playing around some of their conditions where you have large amounts of area that need to be denied away from Stable Geniuses in order for fights to go in your favor. Like we saw around that mid turret, they go for the dive, they overextend, Jax ends up dying, and really you waste a lot of summoners from the side, from the blue side here. But when you go and kind of clump up exactly in the way that Stable Genius wants you to, I mean, we see they go in with the Zac, and Orianna just cleans up with the Shockwave, and she has an incredible amount of AP thanks to that Rabadon Zcop second item. So now that they've gotten a taste for it, hopefully Ballistic Penguins does not make the same mistake.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of like a massive like message stated towards them, like, yeah, we got some crazy ultimates available for us if you're not going to respect our space, because like you said, they have a lot of space now for them. And yeah, I mean, they're able to set up for this dragon's going to come up in about 30 or 40 seconds at this point on.
It's 20 seconds. It's 20 seconds.
Oh,
If you want, just free pro tip for you, if you press N, it gives you the... As we see Gastiop potentially going down up against KFC.
Yeah, I mean, he's against the mid laner. Gastiop is feeling
Wait a
full.
minute.
Sandy Knight coming in. No Shockwave available just yet, and that's going to be shut down going straight
He used
over
it
to the
already.
Kindred.
That's how he got the 40% gold, the 40% chunk on him. Now that's 900 golding on the Kindred, which is important. That's a lot of gold. Speaking of win conditions, I'll hold that as the TP comes.
Oh, that's a really good catch coming in. TP coming in from Minnesota as well. The taunt not quite going to land. Now Shen needs to peel backwards. They have the Senna available. Flashing away. And that's going to hold the Senna caught in between the Kindred. Able to stay alive with the shield. Might be able to finish it. Left despite. Steps right out of it. And now Grange is on the run. They should be able to finish him off. And that's going to be an amazing team fight in favor for the Ballistic Penguins as they turn towards Baron.
Okay, I wanted to talk about win conditions here because Mountain Drake Soul is actually so important here for the side of Stable Geniuses. Yes, they have to give up the Baron here, but if they're able to get 3 Mountain Drakes here, it becomes so difficult for this team to try and deal with a lot of their tanky members. Grage becomes really difficult to deal with. Even someone like Jax, who naturally has resistances when he goes that kind of damage build thanks to his ultimate, the Grandmaster's Might, where you get armor and magic resist, scaling with the amount of ability power and attack damage. This team becomes really, really hard to kill as its games go further and further. And what was looking like a great engage, Domino absolutely fails in that last team fight. He throws up the last Sing Shot, but then cancels it, where there was a great potential engage right there. Ends up kind of throwing the entire team fight out, and specifically while Digimon, I don't think he was going to live for much longer, stepping out of the Kindred ultimate is definitely kind of a small micro mistake as that fight goes on. I don't think it would have impacted the decision or kind of the effect of how that kind of turns out. But still, it's just these small things, yet again, positional errors from either squad coming out and kind of defining some of these fights. 24 minutes into the game, only about 200 gold right now, but that Baron should start to mount up and start to rack up a lot of gold in their favor on the red side.
Yeah, we'll see. We already see Minnesota heading towards topside in the match to the Jax. Now it should be in favor for the Shen in terms of the split push due to empowered minions. So we'll see how that turns out for them as we see Stable Geniuses kind of staying in the fog of war. They want to look for a pick here. They have plenty of engage. It's a matter of how they execute this, and we see the Yuumi recall. They don't have Yuumi available.
Why is Yuumi backing by herself? I mean, realistically, you have a champion that kind of operates in the same way that Zyra Rakan backs do. I don't know why you're going for a back. And you already died in that last team fight. You have Baron for yourself. I don't see why we're going for a pretty late recall. It kind of staggers some of your team's ability to continue to push waves. Now, like you were saying, outside of vision right now.
Oh, beautiful Shockwave lands, and the Sun ultimate on top. Ram's fight able to buy them some time, but that's a lot of HP to be recovered, and the flash from Philip able to keep him alive. But K gets the kill, and now they're turning towards Casio, but he's able to stay alive. Zac passes going through, and they're forced to kite away. Zeki gets the shutdown on top of Domino. And now that was a beautiful fight, but they're not able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, and even with a few mistakes, specifically Minnesota's ult coming out a little bit late into that fight, that was just incredibly well played from the side of Ballistic Penguins. Specifically, this team is doing way too much damage, and like we had said, this team on the side of Stable Geniuses, they do a lot of tanking. They're really tanky.
Oh,
wait for it.
Look for the pick on top of Minnesota, gets the group.
Yeah, they're tanky, but they do no damage.
Yeah.
I mean,
they don't do enough
they're not able to
damage.
actually put damage down onto the members that matter. And we saw that entire fight. Gassiop with the Conqueror, with the Blade of the Ruin King now available to him. He is just life-stealing and just completely shredding through Domino, who's just sitting back there, not able to do too much. And man, that was it was looking great. Specifically, again, KFC is looking really well poised in a lot of these team fights. He starts them off pretty amazingly with those ultimates, but they're just not enough.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, how do you solve this issue with Stable Geniuses where they don't have enough damage for themselves here?
I mean, I want to take a look at some of the other lanes. I think Hate Life, he's doing well for himself. They are looking for a couple of flanks, but you need to pressure this Shen in the side wave, and we're not seeing that. The Blade of the Ruin King needs to be built already. He's lacking a little bit of gold compared to his lane counterpart. Even going down the list, Digimon Expert, what is his build? Now the crit itemization for Senna is a little bit wonky. Typically people are going for a more lethality build because of the fact that you're not really utilizing your attack speed is mostly locked. It is locked. It's just if you have attack speed, it shortens the kind of wind up animation, similar to kind of how Jin works, but the crit itemization is incredibly weak. You're usually looking at that for a later in the game.
Yeah. They look for the pick on Nautilus to get the Elastic Slingshot on top. Let's Bounce going through, trying to buy some time. Lands Respite going across the board. Senna ult, trying to get multiple members. A beautiful counter strike. Another Shockwave on top. Elastic Slingshot counting the CCF for these Stable Geniuses. But the Jinx is ready. Does have the soul available, but goes right back in. Rage gives a kill straight over to Gassiop, and that fight was looking pretty good for Stable Geniuses. But the Jinx might be looking for the kill. Red buff. Oh, the flash from Gassiop. Might be able to stay alive. No, gets the shutdown going straight over to the Orianna. But they don't care. They want this mid inhibitor turret.
Amazing job right there. And again, the fight was looking bad. It was looking really, really rough. Again, KFC finds an amazing shockwave, but the team is not able to find enough damage into that backline. Zeki just fires away completely uncontested. And there was a lot of mistakes there. I will kind of comment. Flower Petals on the Yuumi hops off of Kindred and ends up getting knocked up. Now, important to note, Yuumi is now one of those champions where as soon as she gets knocked up, her W goes on a pretty long cooldown, so she's not able to reconnect with anybody, and so her healing is completely mitigated. She's not able to go back on. She gets blown up in the last team fight, gets hit by a Ori shockwave, which on paper should never happen. There should never be a situation where Yuumi is getting hit by skill shots, much less a command shockwave. But now Soul is being started here. No one is able to respond. TP out from Minnesota. Zeki's got
it. Beautiful shockwave gets the shutdown on top of Zeki. That's who they needed to pick up, and now they're turning towards Billup. But now they're turning their heads towards the Soul. Kindred's barely on his way. The smite comes in through. Domino gets it, and now they're turning towards Kindred. Gassiop gets taken down. K's looking for more, and the damage is coming through. A double kill for K. They get the hook on Veigar. Triple kill. Could this be the quadra kill for the Orianna? As Shen's looking to get now, and that's going to be the quadra kill. A beautiful turnout for these Stable Geniuses.
How is Yuumi the first one to die in a lot of these fights? I mean, yes, we're seeing Zeki getting caught out by K. Amazing shockwaves yet again. And once you take away Zeki, who's being the uncontested member of this team, then we see these fights start to go in their favor. But again, Yuumi in a really awkward position gets completely thrown about. And now with Baron going over, we were talking about the Souls being a potential win condition for this team, and it being Mountain Soul just makes it so much harder. Again, Zeki going for the same kind of build on the Jinx where he has the armor penetration available to himself. Specifically, take a look. Yuumi is in a really awkward position, caught between the Jacks.
Yep.
I don't think they're going to look for too much, but...
Yeah, I think they're going to go ahead and take this Baron and recall. They have Soul as well, so this is a huge turning point for Stable Geniuses here.
I don't mean to ruin the tempo here, but
yeah,
what is Digimon building? He has the chain vest. What is happening?
He's limit testing.
Awful. Look. There could be an argument made for last game that the Kha'Zix pick is correct. I firmly disagree with it, and I think that there are definitely plenty of champions that could beat this. But this build path, don't tell me we're going for GA third item. What is, like, are we just going for Senna who's like, guys, look, I'm using my abilities, I'm helping, guys, I'm using my ultimate. This is incredibly questionable, and I think just straight up wrong. Look, there are many times where people are not willing to kind of call out people for being wrong. I think there are definitely situations where you just pick your battle saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't the most optimal kind of choice here, but there can be an argument made for why they did this. But this is just straight up, like, this build path is just bad. It's just bad.
Yeah, it's pretty atrocious. Not a fan, but
They are
Yeah, I
shooting
mean,
now. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
the thing is like, this Senna, you're waiting for stacks. He has 67 stacks at 31.
Oh,
You're supposed to
they're
have
gonna
that
jump
at
on
25.
Domino. Nice Shockwave, able to buy some time for the jungler, and now final chapter going through. It's on cooldown, not available for the
Shockwave's not
re-engage.
here. Shockwave is
that was
available,
used-
so
yeah.
they want to look for something. This would be their time.
They gotta look for something, but the nice poke coming in from Senna is able to kind of apply some damage, but the Zoomies able to patch it up like a band-aid. And while they're still funneling things mid, they have Jax on the split push bot side.
Great job from them. They're utilizing their Baron correctly, making sure that their waves. It looks like Minnesota's looking for something, but I mean, Digimon, build be damned. The last embraces are really hitting. This man is putting
don't
down
win.
a lot of CC, and it's causing a lot of issues here for the side of Ballistic Penguins. They're not able to engage when constantly one or two members are locked up in crowd control. So again, it looks like Digimon has to be really careful here. Shockwave is available up again, so it could be the kind of key that turns this fight around.
Yeah, they're gonna go for the disengage. They don't want to mess with the Vagar cage, but they get the inhibitor turret. Not the inhibitor for mid lane, but they're able to pull in some turrets. And
Okay. That's just half of Gassiop's health right there with a single command shock or command dissonance. Okay, that's fine. Do it again. Do it again. I want to see it. I just want to see the health go missing. I mean, really, they can just sit there here as long as they want. They have a way that realistically Ballistic Penguins cannot actually interact with, minus the cage. It looks like Minnesota going for a flank here.
he has a flank. He needs to look for Ori. That's the prime target. Kay's in a bad position, but they're able to buy some time for the shed. Dashes, no time available. A beautiful shockwave catches Gassy up with his pants down, and now Zach Jones is on top. San United coming in for the Yumi, but the Yumi gets exploded off the map and double kill 4K, as now they're turning towards Minnesota, and that's going to be a triple kill as Jax and Zach mop the floor with Bill up, and that should be game 2 going straight over to the Stable Geniuses.
Yeah, KFC having a complete showcase on how this Orianna is just gonna rock. Now, we did see amazing team fights out from the side of Ballistic Penguins. I think that, again, they need to be able to play around Zeki. This guy's showing that he is just kind of the key member to this this team composition, constantly playing around him. I don't think that there was a problem between their bot lanes. However, KFC just had too much sway over this game. Those shockwaves were game defining on some of these fights, and Gassia getting caught on them is really important. I think there needs to be a little bit of a change on their priority when it comes to jungle and support. I love the Kindred pick here. The Kindred pick I think did really amazing with what was given, and I think with maybe a better executed Yumi, there could be potential for this kind of composition to really have kind of gone the distance. But there was way too many mistakes. Gassiop getting one shot by the Orianna is something that really cannot be done. Obviously, you don't want to have one of your members being caught on a side wave, but Zeki could not do enough where, hey, yeah, like, you know, a lot of the shockwave is being used on other members, but Zeki's not being enabled realistically to try to find better team fights. Minnesota needs to be able to use this Shen ultimate on Zeki, and he's not really surviving all that long. So specifically for Ballistic Penguins, I love the Kindred. I love this draft on paper, but again, like we saw in Game 1, execution is proving to be a problem for both of these teams.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but in terms of like how things come out for Game 3, I'm interested to see whether or not like they keep Kay on this mid lane pick, unless Orianna's the only
For
mid
sure.
lane champion.
I mean, Orianna is going to be highly contested as we go into Game 3 here.
Yeah, definitely, and I think there's a lot to be learned here for both these teams. I'm sure Ballistic Penguins are scratching their heads, a little bit confused. You know,
I would be too if I lost to the Senna, to be I mean, let's be fair. Build was not amazing. The execution in lane was not amazing, but we'll
who needs
see
that? Who needs optimal build path if you just land abilities? Smile.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
But honestly, like I think Domino did really good this game. Like, I mean, along with K obviously, but I think Domino did really well. Able to look for these really good elastic sling shots. I mean, it's just part of their comp, right? Like you mentioned it.
Yeah, I don't think he look like Domino definitely played his role. I'm not gonna give him much praise past that. I think that there was a couple times where kind of
he griefed that one dragon fight where like it gave like Ballistic Penguins that Baron.
I'm worried for how Game 3 is gonna turn out, but I'll save the criticism for when we jump into draft.
Yep. And with that being said, we are gonna go on a quick break while we rejuvenate ourselves and prepare ourselves mentally and cross our fingers that the client for Riot is working well. With that being said, we'll be back shortly. Stick with us. Lots to come in this Game 3 cooking up between Ballistic Penguins versus Stable Geniuses.
Welcome back, everybody. As I'm Matsuda, here with Alf Battery, who is eating his yogurt. What a good guy.
No.
Anyways, we're excited for Game 3. We're in picks and bans. You know the drill. Relatively the same bans that we've been seeing the last 2 games. But I'm excited to see what the adaptations are going to come in here for Stable Geniuses and Ballistic Penguins.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of just seeing the same thing. Ribbon, Cho'Gath on the side of the Penguins, Malzahar, Galio, Ornn on the side of Stable Geniuses. Game 3 now. Important thing to note, BP is back on the side of Blue, so they will have first round pick. And last time they were here, they were able to really just get that Shen prep. Now, the Teemo ban comes from a no ban. There was a little bit of a confusion for how some of the members for role selection, so it had to be deducted a ban, and that was where it was going to be placed. So right now BP kind of have their pick of the litter. I mean, this just means that now Yumi's still on the table. I really hope that they don't first pick Yumi, but Shen is available, and Shen has been kind of the all-star of the series.
Oh,
now we see
it's going to be the TF.
Okay. Okay, it's Shen.
Okay.
Never mind. There we go, guys. See? Told you, Shen.
Whatever. I thought the TF was going to be hypey, man.
It would have been. I would agree. The TF would have been pretty sick, but again, Shen, Orianna, I think is gonna have to be the second pick here for the side of Stable Geniuses. Important thing to note in terms of kind of positions. Digimon, Emperor, and KFC have role swapped back, so Digi is going to be going back in the mid lane. KFC is going to go back to bot side. I loved KFC's performance in mid lane personally, but you're not going to see it at least for the rest of this series as Jinx being picked up and taken away for Zeki for the first time in the series.
Yeah, so it kind of leaves the question, what are you going to have Zeki play? I mean, we see the Morgana locked in, and it's going to be the Varus locked in.
Okay. Still picking themselves up a powerful bot lane. You still have great ways to try to peel this champion with Shen and the Morgana, as well as you're just able to kind of poke Jinx out of lane where she's not able to deal with it. So on the side of Stable Geniuses, I mean, Yumi could be a potential pick here if they really want to. Really does really well with Zac. If not, they're probably going to pick up another top side here. And looks like Zyra is going to be the contested pick now. Zyra does really well into Morgana, pokes her out of lane, keeps it really hard for her to look for bindings. And for Varus, even though he's trying to poke as well, Zyra just keeps both of them kind of at arm's reach. This has to be some kind of. All right.
Dude, I didn't know they lost 2 bans, Dimitri.
You know, I thought that they lost only 1 ban, but it seems like we're kind of throwing the Kha'Zix back in there. I mean, this would actually be a much more interesting game to see Kha'Zix come in versus Jinx Zyra. It would be definitely a lot harder for him, but I think it'd be you could make the case that this could be a potential matchup for him. So now on the side of Ballistic Penguins, they typically tend to ban ADCs here since we tend to see 3rd, 4th, and 5th round picks. And it's going to be Veigar being taken away. So we're going to get a new mid lane pair here. More than likely, Orianna is not going to get banned from the side of Stable Geniuses. So mid lane seems to be the focus for them. Victor is probably going to be the next thing that is going to be banned by Stable Geniuses, as well as for the side of Ballistic Penguins. I mean, we've only seen Ezreal Tristana on 4 or 5 ban phase. So something new potentially. Kindred trying to just keep Gassiop off of champions we've already seen.
I mean, I guess you said Kindred worked well. I could agree as well. Did a lot of work last game. Unfortunately, it was not able to come out with a win. But I guess they just want to put Gassiop on something new as well. Wondering what the next ban for Ballistic Penguins is going to be, though.
Yeah, I'm going to expect it's going to be Victor. If not Victor, they're getting rid of bad. Okay, they're getting rid of bad top lane matchups. For Shen, and Set does amazingly into this team. Specifically, Varus has an incredibly hard time trying to deal with Set going into that backline. Now, for the side of Stable Geniuses, looks like Jack's going to be their pick. Again, another great matchup, and I think I Hate Life, he did alright. Didn't have an amazing time, even though in that matchup you're supposed to win, so I would need to see him sharpen up his Jack's abilities, and I think that there's still room to do so.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but you know, it's not something that we're like, oh, why did this make it through ban phase? But I mean, once again, we're gonna see the same top lane matchup, and Lysandra
might be locked in here for Ballistic Penguins, and it is going to be locked in for themselves.
Okay, I'm waiting to see what BP picks here for their jungler. We've seen Olaf this series.
Could be Morgana jungle.
You know, actually, if it was Morgana jungle, huge props to Gassiop if he's able to pull this off, because Morgana jungle is actually really, really powerful, but some people would like to deny it. Olaf, probably, we could see Jarvan if they really want to, and Kayn, someone that I have been trying to, at least personally, try to up as a jungle. This guy farms incredibly well. The buffs to his Q make it so it's really nice to try and go for ganks. So, I mean, the Kayn's not bad. It has a great matchup into Zac. I'm actually gonna go check. Reason sponsored EU.GG if you want to go check out for statistics. Just make sure. But, if I just pull up statistics.
I mean, the last pick coming out from Geniuses is going to be the Mordekaiser. Probably going to be expected to go mid lane versus the Lissandra. It's not so bad.
55% win rate out of
Versus
3,000 games. Only available at U.GG, by the way, guys. No other website has the statistics. I promise you, 100%. No lie, no kappa. But I mean, again, Ballistic Penguins have set themselves up with a pretty great draft. I think the changes to Lissandra, back when she was powerful and they kind of took her down a notch, they added a lot of cooldown reduction to her Q. And now that they've also kind of taken away her free ability after 13 seconds, and they've kind of replaced it with those shadow ice forms that blow up, they kind of never kind of reinstated some of the power that they took away from her. So putting in a little bit lower cooldown for her sleep allows her to not only hold control over the lane, but now it gives her some way to come back into the mid lane champion pool. So I love that BP kind of picking up a lot of the new kids on the block for the patch.
Yeah, I mean, they're freshening things up. Honestly, while the Kayn has a really good matchup, I personally don't think Kayn is that good in competitive 5v5s. I think he's really good solo queue champion, and I think Riot, I don't think they intended for that to happen. It just kind of happened that way. I just personally am not a fan in a competitive 5v5 environment. I think Kayn is a little bit hard to pull off here, right? Because you're able to kind of, I mean, blue form's not as good now. I think you mostly go Ross, I believe, right? Or yeah, I mean,
Ross is
I'm not
really
sure.
powerful. Ross is really
It
powerful. I think Kayn competitively is actually still pretty viable. People need to just find the matchups and need to find. There are definitely times where Kayn is actually a really great pick, but I mean, again, I think that this is another pick where Gassiop is trying to say, like, I am playing some maybe not so typical junglers. I think Kha'Zix, and I think it's pretty fair to say that Kha'Zix and Kayn are pretty atypical from what we typically see from jungle. And Kindred is pretty popular, yes, but Kayn and Kha'Zix are some of the solo queue all-stars. However, Kayn has amazing matchups into almost every single one of these champions. I would say Mordekaiser makes this a little bit difficult. Mordekaiser throws a massive wrench into this team composition where whoever gets Gen ulted, if Mordekaiser's in range, he's going to death roam them and pull them out. And specifically from what we've seen in teamfights so far in every single game, if Zeki is taken out early on, this team has zero fire.
Yeah, I mean, that was back when he was on the Jinx. I haven't seen him play anything other than the Jinx, but I'm curious to see how good his Varus is. If it's as good as his Jinx, then yeah, I agree. Zeki puts up a lot of manpower for his...
There's nothing that has... There is no evidence that had come forth prove otherwise that Zeki is going to have an otherwise great performance. Saying it's a little unfair to be like, well, it's not Jinx, so we don't know. Yes, Jinx has a lot more tools available to her to carry, especially with the Get Excited. But I think from what we've seen from Zeki, and considering what we've seen from Digimon and KSA, I think I personally am very confident and willing to bet my money that in a 2v2 setting, Zeki and Flower Petals will be KSA and Grudge.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. KSA game 1 didn't do so spectacular on the Ashe, I believe, so I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think the issue with like Stable Geniuses is that I feel like their AD carry flex, I guess you could call it, One's probably better than the other, but the one that's better than the other is, I mean, he's stable, right? Hence the name Stable Geniuses. I'm just worried, whether or not they're able to match Zeki well, and yeah, he does have the manpower for it. So I'm curious on this bot lane matchup. I know you said Zyra tends to be a really good matchup against the Morgana. So very interested to see how that turns out throughout the game, earlier on at least.
So early on, Minnesota, we've this is basically a proven constant. The world turns, the sun rises in the east.
Yep.
And Minnesota's playing shit. there are just some constants in the world. And
It's shown pretty good.
It's been not bad. It's not been amazing. Some of the flanks have not been too spectacular, and I would love to see these teams play a little bit more around their side lanes, but I think I'm just gonna abandon that dream right now. Gastiop should have a pretty great time trying to just farm around the jungle. The problem is, it's like a double-edged sword. The great thing is, you have amazing lockdown in both of your solo lanes if you want to go for kills, and both solo lanes are melee on the opposite side, so guaranteed you will find Ross unless you are ganking bot lane, which I don't expect Kane to do.
Yeah.
The problem here is that the lanes you're ganking are Jax and Mordekaiser, two champions which very heavily punish Kane for utilizing the Reaping Slash going forward. As soon as you go forward, they're like, sure, I'm just gonna counter-strike. I'm just gonna use my Mordekaiser E and pull you forward, and now you're stuck here with me, and even if you use your ultimate, you're just getting closer.
Yeah, it's unintuitive for the Kane in terms of fighting like that, and curious to see what does he do then. Sure, the ganks on top and mid are going to be pretty good for the Kane, but if that's the case where he just puts in a very suboptimal position, he might just be forced to gank bot lane, which delays his Rost.
I would hope he's not doing that.
I mean,
I would really hope he. It's not hard to get a lot of orbs, especially with how they change. They keep giving change these small love taps. The Reaping Slash that we saw in this latest patch, great.
yeah.
But they keep giving him more and more ability where after level 8, level 9, he is getting so many orbs that it's basically guaranteed you will get your Rost form or you get your Blue Assassin form. It is more than likely that Kane pre-level 7 will have his abilities available to him. He will become a champion. Because right now, as regular Kane, you're about 75% champion. You're not fully, you're not there yet. You haven't hit the mark.
You're not quite tapping it in there. And with that considered, we are going to go into a short intermission while we transition onto the rips. Fingers crossed. Let's hope spectator client does not fail us. But with that being said, we'll see you guys shortly, and stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. On the Rift, Game 3, 1-1 between both of these teams here, and this game's gonna seal the nail in the coffin. One of these teams is gonna lose the series here. And with that being said, both teams are fanning across the Rift. No sneaky invade. We haven't seen it the past 2 games. Probably not gonna happen this game. And you know, we're just gonna see what I think most of this matchup for both these teams is like dependent on what the junglers are doing for both of these teams here. Earlier on, at least.
We're already starting off on a pretty interesting foot here. Aftershock on Zyra. Now, this is not obviously optimal. You want to try and maximize the amount of damage on Zyra. However, I actually think that this is pretty smart for a couple of reasons. This allows Zyra to be a little bit more tanky and specifically to try to survive a lot of the dive that's going to come out from this team. When you take a look at the side of Ballistic Penguins, you're taking a look at this team where you have great dive potential. You have long-range engage coming out from your bot lane. You have Billup, Gassiup, and Minnesota who have a pretty great ways to dip and duck out of turret aggro and start to reset that for themselves. And the Zyra just now becomes really difficult to deal with the Aftershock earlier on to the game. Yes, you are going to be trading some of your lane prowess. It's not as amazing maybe as a couple of other rune choices, but I think that there is, you know, at least a more sensible argument than maybe not going farming Senna.
Yeah, and so far, I mean, I actually want to see whether or not I Hate Life does better into this matchup, since it is in his favor for the most part, earlier on at least. Aftershock, let's go. Nice snack coming out. Yeah.
Not gonna be too much.
Oh.
Alright, yeah, that's a really nice hitbox.
Man, I love it.
I know.
You know, I think it's a lot. At least it's more like visually, like it looks like a lot easier to tell whether you get hit or not. The old binding animation, like season 3 and season 4, that was atrocious. That one was atrocious. I think this one's a lot better.
The only rework I will ever disagree with is the Karthus rework. Getting rid of the Skittles was biggest mistake.
And I love the Skittles, the
little orange Skittles. I used to. It was just overpowered. How are you supposed to play against that?
Yeah.
It was a lot tighter, impossible to see, basically, in a lot of fights. You see Minnesota.
Oh wait, this Shen's super low. Gassiup's on his way. Should be able to get the W on top of the Jax. Forcing the flash. Can he make it out? He doesn't have a trinket available for the leaping strike. And this should be a kill. First blood, once again going over to Gassiup.
Great job right there, and able to punish that. Minnesota was looking quite dangerous. Great job by him. Finally, we're seeing at least some wave manipulation Game 3 into the series. He pulls the wave right into the wall, and we actually see that Hate Life tries to get a very big trade. I was a little bit worried for how far Minnesota was going to try and push that, and what we ended up seeing there was an amazing kind of setup for that gank right there. So Gassiup does have to build a flash, but getting that away from Jax is really key. So amazing job from Ballistic Penguins, already getting off to a great start.
Yeah, I mean, Ballistic Penguins able to make a bit of a call out, works out for them, and
alright, wait, you don't have the jungle this time, but you have a massive mini wave.
Yeah. Massive minion wave available for Minnesota. I Hate Life was debating whether or not he wanted to commit for that, but that wave is massive, would have destroyed him. But
I don't think it would have destroyed him, we just would have equaled out the trade there if he ended up going for it.
Yeah, I mean,
and it probably would have really been kind of problematic, but specifically, Gassiup doing pretty well for himself. I really wish that there was a way for a spectator to try and see how much percentage of the difference in terms of
the forms.
Rage is just locking up.
Oh, early TP coming in from Minnesota. They have members available. The Shen looking for the mid of the ball. Land on top of Grade, and that's gonna be Grade getting taken out from Zaki on the Bears.
Gassiup's gonna get so many orbs here.
Yeah, he's gonna farm some orbs off of the Zac.
Wait a minute.
Pop the passive? No, he's gonna back out. And now, K gets hit by the Biden. I didn't even think I was gonna hit. Burns the cleanse and the flash. Oh my, that was atrocious. That was atrocious.
I mean, that's Gassiup, here it goes.
Okay,
you get some
more orbs. Oh, this might be the passive getting popped from the Zac here. Gonna get some backup here. Could they maybe get Gassiup off? Forced to dash away. Doesn't get caught by the Zyra snare, and he should be able to live by the skin of his teeth.
That I
Yeah.
mean, that's massive. Not only do you get
Yeah.
the Zac passive, but he also takes the wolves away from him. So I don't think he transforms quite yet. He has to be so close. He has to at least be 75% already. Now, really important to note, Zeki has gone for the lethal tempo Varus build here, so we will not be seeing post lethality Varus, the one that's incredibly strong right now, but still doing well for himself. And that was an amazing bot side engage from them, specifically Flower Petals finding a lot more success this time around on the Morgana.
Oh yeah. But so far, mid lane's been pretty calm.
Oh, he got
Digimon-
lost. Let's go, boys.
Oh,
Oh, never mind. That's
already?
just Varus. That's just Varus. That's just the Varus. I love the visuals.
You scared me a bit.
I was about
there.
to say, I was like,
what?
dude, getting 3-6 minutes is pretty nutty. But
Yeah. What's the record? I forgot. Didn't Karisma get like the record, like won the game or whatever?
you think I would
don't
know?
I don't know. I don't play
The
Kane.
only statistics I would know is from the legendary website u.gg. Sponsor of Prison, by the way. But,
Yeah. You're right. My bad. My bad.
yeah, I would
Very
not.
bad
I would not
assumption.
know personal. I would not know those records. However, seeing a little bit of a trade now in towards bot side. Beautiful Lysandra skin. I gotta love. Shout out to our team. But looks
Yeah,
like not
it looks
too
nice.
much. Domino is not having that same kind of dominance
Oh.
we've been seeing.
I mean, yeah, he's kind of on the backhand so far this game. As he is going to get invaded here, Lysandra might be looking for a flank, but she's going to go ahead head back to the river. Meanwhile, top lane, we see the 1v1 between Jax and the Shen here, but
Really careful here.
yeah, Minnesota actually were able to kind of get the better half of the trade.
It's that Ruby Crystal, man. Ruby Crystal's gonna work. But he also has the Grouse Undying, which is getting him a lot of damage. Now, it looks like they're just going to be trading. They're not going to be going for this Ocean Drake. I think Gassiop's just kind of sitting here trying to just sweep it out. Don't steal this, please. Don't do this, Gassiop. Now, he is wasting a lot of time here. It looks like he is just going to Drake. He has bot lane priority. They're just going to push out this wave with one piercing arrow and move on out. Even Lysandra has control of her waves, so really loving this. This is again a lot more quiet game, as we see now. Domino goes in, jump back out. Minnesota, really careful. Gets the Ocean Drake for himself, which will just almost end this lane. Top side anyway. It's not guaranteed, obviously, with this massive mini wave. Hate Life will have some time. Be careful here.
A nice stun, able to get it, but Minnesota does
Wait
a
a
lot of
minute.
damage. Gets the taunt, and it gets the solo kill on top of I Hate Life.
Yeah, that's not where you want to be if you're Jax right now. Not only are you crushing a massive wave that now he has the chance to try to manipulate if he wants to try and make a huge freeze up there, this also is just devastating because Ocean Drag is in the way that the trades are happening in topside where it's, hey, we're taking a little bit of a stack here and then we're backing off, we're kind of regenning. That Ocean Drake is going to tick, 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 and all of a sudden that is, a bonus 150, maybe 200 health that is now unaccounted for from Jax when it comes to trades.
Yeah, I mean, very unfortunate. I Live sitting at 0-2. So far, top is not looking too good. I think mid's looking okay, and I think bot's practically even on the side of stable geniuses.
Yeah, I mean, Zeki has about a 500 gold lead for himself thanks to that gold that came out, or that kill. Support gold doesn't really matter. It's about 200 for Morgana. But this is probably the most even it's going to be throughout the game. As you've seen, KSA constantly gets, at least from game 1, got completely wrecked by Zeki in terms of gold value. And even in game 2, Zeki was still putting on a beautiful show as to how ADC kind of, ADC matchups go. But
Yeah.
Domino has not found his footing in this game. I was saying last game that even as the Zac, you're not looking for too many ganks, you're just hoping that the ganks that do come out on the opposite side are not super effective, but when you're getting pushed out by the enemy jungler in a lot of cases, it ends up being a little bit more problematic. Now, we are cresting the 10-minute mark, which is about the time when Kane should be getting his Rost form, so he has to be incredibly close, probably looking for something topside. See a couple of pings going up there. Domino is in position.
Yeah, we see Domino in the Tribush near top side. And we do see Gassiop clearing out that ward near Rift Herald. Couldn't look to get it, but they're going to look to collapse on I Hate Life, getting caught out. Throws out the counter strike. Gets the stun. Nice knock up on top of the Shen.
Oh, no, Gassiop.
This is the jump over the wall. And Lysandra comes in to save the day. Might be able to buy some time.
ultimate available, but the Counter-Strike able to buy some time. Waits for the Mordekaiser to come in. Does ult. Oh, might be able to get the kill on Shen, but might get timed out here. And now it's 1v2 for the Mordekaiser, but able to do a lot of damage. Gets the passive proc ready. Should be able to drain out Minnesota, and now looks towards Lysandra. But Zach Pass is being procced. The Jax gets hanging out from Flower Petals, and Gassiov picks up the kill for himself. So it's a 1-for-2 in favor of the Ballistic Penguins.
A lot that was invested there, specifically Zeki and Flowers walking all the way up from bot side. They would have find the kills. Now teleport coming here from Billup. He's just here to hold the wave. Should get rooted as soon as he comes out. He doesn't have ultimate to try and respond, so shouldn't be looking for a 1v2. Zeki's gonna have control of mid lane while this Rift Herald is being taken by Gassiov. A couple of mistakes early on yet again. Gassiov not able to find himself over that wall, misses the jump like you were saying, but in the end, finding that 1v2 and specifically Domino being pushed out yet again from the jungle position.
Yeah, I mean, we see Mordekaiser get the first kill, but I mean, Digimon can't do this game all by himself. He's gonna need both his lanes to kind of pick up the pace for themselves as a taunt comes in from Minnesota. Really winning these trades here. That's
Look at that. I mean, how do you deal with that? I mean, Minnesota, there's no way that this Jax comes back at this point. You already have the Bomby Cinder, which is going to max the Jax push. You now know that Domino is topside. You also have the Ninja Tabbies, which will cut this champion's damage pretty substantially. And I just want to take a look. That's Ross, baby. That's Ross right there.
yeah.
Gassiop has crested it, and now it just becomes incredibly difficult for the side of stabilizing geniuses. How are they able to really try and find themselves back in? And take a look at this. I mean, Minnesota topside is he's just holding this wave. If he wants, he knows, hey, you can't step up into here. I wouldn't be standing too far into that mini wave as your Bomby Cinder is going to actually push it.
Oh, the Binding Connects forcing the cleanse and the flash.
Wait, what? Whoa. Why was there a Shen ultimate? Okay. Oh, okay.
Wait.
Well, they get both of the summoners from KFC, but I don't know if we needed to do the
Stand United.
Yeah, the Stand United. It seems a little bit premature. However, that is a lot of cooldowns now. Specifically, Stand United going down is really important here for the side of stabilizing geniuses. But now, as we see the team starting to contest for the Mountain Drakes, it looks like the Soul might, depending on which Soul we get, I would say that this is a potential win condition. Infernal Soul might be too much.
Binding does connect on top of Domino. They could try to burst down the Zach.
Oh my God,
That's
you guys
available. Yeah, that's gonna get dead. Zach coming out, and they cancel the TP. 99 from I Hate Life. And now the Mordekaiser's trying to get the Lysandra down. He's trying to burn her down. Lots of CC to deal with. Gets slowed. And that should be a dead Emperor. Trying to stay alive for so long. But Zeki gets the kill anyways.
Amazing job right there, and this game is going from bad to worse for the side of stabilizing geniuses. Minnesota, he gets interrupted on two key cooldowns right there. The teleport and the Stand United get interrupted. So, I mean, that sucks, but amazing job on the opposite side of the map right there. Billup finding himself a really great engage there, and specifically, Domino has no say in that last fight. Minnesota, why are you under his turret proxy? Alright, whatever. But
Dude, he's just vibing on top side.
Domino got completely chain CC'd right there. We just seen him
Yeah.
gets knocked up. He gets he gets the dark binding right there. And then he just gets completely torn apart by this team. And as a jungler, you're waiting on these items. There's a 3-level difference between Gassiop and Domino. The great thing about Kane is that he punishes these tank junglers incredibly hard. He has amazing damage that scales with HP thanks to his ultimate while he's in Ross. Not only does he have a knockup, but he also farms incredibly effectively compared to these tank junglers. So it is really just impressive. Gassiop coming out on this Kane, pulling it out, and really showing that the changes on 10.9.
Oh, Gassiop's on his way, ganking bot lane. Has the Ross upgrade, like you said, they locked down the Jinx, no cleanse available, and Zeki should be able to get the kill. Gassiop actually takes it for himself. That's going to be Kane getting taken down earlier on, and they should be able to look to crash this wave on bot side. I don't know if they want to force it. They have Rift Herald. They're going to go ahead and pop it.
That should just be free, like a free boss fight turret. It's a little bit past 14 minutes, so yeah, no plates. You get a little bit of some markings down on your grade, but first turret and pretty well taken. Specifically, this is one of those punishes that I was looking for in the series where, hey, the summoners have been taken off. One of the key members of the team come back to the lane and look to punish. And that's what we ended up seeing right there. So amazing job right there by the side of Ballistic Penguins. Gassiop having an amazing game 3 of the series, really just trying to round out. He doesn't want to play any more of these tiebreakers, considering how many people are at 5-2. And look at Minnesota. This is not where you want to be as Jax. There is a Bramble Vest, Ninja Tabbies, Bomby Cinder, Shen.
Oh no, I think he's dead here.
Shot.
Okay, never mind. He got the counter strike.
Yeah, but for how
Yeah.
long? This is a massive
Yeah.
way to shot the stack.
Yeah,
Domino
I think he
is
could
here,
just
so we
tower
could
dive.
potentially see we could potentially see the 2v1 here.
Yeah, 2v1 available for Stable Geniuses as the wave's crashing. I hate Life's waiting for his jungler to show, but I think Shen saw him pretty clearly as not Gas here. Flower Petals is here. So looking for the dive, gets the knock up. Looking to see the Jax is gonna get taken out by the minion auto of Minnesota. Not quite dead yet, and now the Jack is stuck under the island. We call top lane. Pops the passive. No TP able to save it. Cassio should be able to stay alive, and Zeki gets another kill for the Bears. Nicely done.
Yeah, and now it just feels like Ballistic Penguins, they are just ripping this team apart right now. Great dive from them. The turret juggle aggro was pretty well done for the most part. I thought the dive could have been a little bit better executed, but still amazing from them. They're able to get themselves a couple more kills. Specifically, Zeki is able to pick up another kill for himself. No longer the kill list leader with the Colts from the game 1 of the series. And now, great rotations from them. They push out this top side, and now they're just completely choking Domino out of this game, maintaining the level lead and the gold lead that they have themselves.
All they get they're finding,
God,
earning the cleanse off of Jinx. I'm pretty sure it just came up, to be honest.
That's gotta feel horrible. I mean,
Yeah.
look at this. You're getting pushed out of your jungle. You have no top side here to respond with. You could go bot lane, but now they just know that, I mean, with no turret down there, he's kind of stuck in this really awful position where he can't really share gold with his Jinx because his Jinx is far behind in gold. If we just take a look, yeah, about a 1,500 gold in favor of Zeki. And if he tries to take gold away from his top laner, these are two laners. To be fair, Jax could probably now sit on Blade of the Ruin King for a really long time, but there's so many members of this team right now on red that are starving for gold and are just not able to get it, that as this game continues, hopefully we see an improvement from game 1 where they don't just stall out and they're waiting for the 100% victory chance of ending out this game, that with this gold lead at about 18-20 minutes, you have a 7,000 gold lead. It probably feels like a little bit less. They might even exploit it and say it's a little bit more, but I mean, the level leads are just showing out when it comes to just the invisible gold lead, and it's just, this is where they need to start finding their marks and closing out this game. They have a second Rift Herald, so they could look for a mid play. They have a dragon coming up, and it is Cloud Drake, which Cloud Drake was the soul that I was looking for this team, because you're looking for on cooldown to be utilizing the Varus ultimate to look for picks.
Yeah.
Look at this. They're just shoving Domino out of his jungle. No blue buff.
They can't even contest this. I mean, forced the elastic swing shot away. Like, Domino is like on poverty. No stimulus checks available for him as the jungler. Gassiop is living lavishly so far this game.
His stimulus check was game 2.
Yeah, it was.
He got his gold from there. But
And you know what they wasted those stimulus checks on from game 2? The Kindred and Gods expand, baby.
Yeah, true. But as we see, look at this. What is Domino supposed to do here? Look how much damage this guy does.
Yeah, this is insane. Oh. Man, that's what feels bad, man.
And now they have priority over mid lane.
Yeah.
Which should be dropping the Rip Tails here. The wave is not really in a great position, so looks like Jackson's going for something.
Gets knocked, locked and loaded from the first. Nice one from Zeki. Should be able to finish it off. They burst the mid lane turret, and now they're looking for more. Zyra ultimate trying to buy some time. But Kane's inside. Mordekaiser's trying to do as much damage as he can, but Digimon Emperor should be able to get taken out slowly but surely. Gassiop is unstoppable. 5-0-4 on this game here.
Yeah, and take a look at just how useless now this Mordekaiser is. So, oh wait, they're looking for a re-engage.
Oh.
Goodbye, Domino.
Oh man.
I mean,
That was fresh off of spawn too. Oh,
dude, Zeki just went for 40% HP to heal plus barrier plus. Nice. All right. Well, the important thing to note here is that even if there is only really one member that Digimon Emperor can really take for the Mordekaiser ults, and it's definitely not Kane. Because Kane will just use ultimate, and the Umbral Trespass will just completely negate your ultimate. He will just sit inside of you and just be like, all right, cool, I'll just wait. We're waiting, boys. This is we're scaling. We're scaling inside the Mordekaiser death roll. We're just straight up vibing in here. We got the lo-fi hip hop.
it's like a catabolic time chamber for Kane, while he just waits to fight the Mordekaiser ult.
Yeah.
You know what the catabolic time chamber is, right?
I do. I watched a little bit of the animes.
The animus.
Animes. Alright, Zeki.
Oh.
Little flash. No ultimate available.
Oh, Soul Shackle's going through. Very deep for Flower Petals as the Kane is... I think Gaskio gets to play whatever he wants or fight whoever he wants without really being hard punished. Speaking of which, he gets pulled in. Dashes right out, stays alive. Man.
I mean, take a look at a lot of the score lines here. Even if we're just looking without any of the KDAs, there is a lot of bounties on this team. 14-1. The gold almost 10,000 in favor of Ballistic Penguins. And it's not going to get much better from here. You have a dragon that you're going to have to fight for in about 2.5 minutes with a bunch of members that are just now hitting their first item breakpoints. Specifically, Jax's. Just want to take a look. 600 gold, and he's sitting with a sapphire crystal in his inventory. So this Jax is all but taken out of this game physically. Dominope, while he is a tank and he's waiting for itemization, he's trying to get levels, is not going to be able to scale fast enough. Zeki's already hit his Rage Blade right now, and with lethal tempo, will become an absolute menace. This Cloud Soul is going to be what kind of breaks this game and completely ends it for the side of stabilizing geniuses. They're gonna have to kind of channel their namesake here if they're gonna want to try and find a way back into this one.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a lot of things you have to push back in order to stabilize, and I'm not sure if they're able to do it realistically, as we do see a lot of vision trying to be denied here from Stable Geniuses, as Gasiob is looking for something.
And again, the reason why the Shen pick has been so important is the 1-4 that this team has been able to put out. Shen just sits right into a side lane and is able to protect key members of this team when necessary on call. And while Jax is kind of that answer, was supposed to be that answer, it hasn't been. Now, important to note, gas up is incredibly low here, only about 5,000 on the Baron, but they should have spotted Zach here in the bush. Now the rest of the members are looking to try and contest. 4,000, the Baron is resetting. Gassiop's actually going back in to keep it aggroed, but
I don't think they can commit for it. Yeah, they're gonna just drop it. Rather not risk a possible steal from Domino, because then it buys time for Stable Geniuses. So I think there might have been the right call, as they're gonna go ahead and head towards the mid lane.
I mean, I guess. Again.
I mean, I hope. Yeah.
One of the problems that I'm just like that we're taking, like, we're just seeing very like a great showcase for is why we have a bunch of Domino. But I've got you, Austin. Don't worry. Kane gets the kill right here. I'm probably just gonna give it to Zeki. Yeah, there we go. Doesn't even need to really worry about it. The Blaze reach ends up being too much. End up getting the kill onto Domino. That's just gonna be a free cause. What I was trying to talk about earlier. You have all of these champions that are waiting for gold, but then you're sitting in four-man positions where 4 people are splitting farm, 4 people are splitting gold, experience, and all of this, and that just means that none of you are getting strong. KFC is never going to be in a position to really fight back. I think Jax at this point is basically useless. He is just going to be completely pushed on opposite ways and pray to God that no one comes and kills me, or that I'm not needed for a team fight. However, 15-1, 25 minutes into this game, 10,000 gold in the lead, you're going to be needed. Your team is not only down members, but you're going to need like a 6th, 7th member on your team to at least fight evenly.
Oh yeah. You see Domino gets locked down. He can't even get across the wall. Goes for the smite steal. It's gonna be close. Oh my God! Zeki's able to finalize the Baron. Now they're looking to finish off the members of Stable Geniuses. The Mordekaiser's left alone. despite being somewhat tanky, a double kill goes over to Zeki, and they should be able to finish the game here. No questions asked. I Hate Life is on the run. Glow not going to connect, burns his flash, but for what cost? As we do see Gassiop lurking nearby on their topside jungle, but they should be able to finish this realistically.
Yeah, they have a pretty big wave here. They don't have a cannon on this one. Was taken out, so... and also, Zeki is not here, so their siege is going to be a little bit delayed. They should be able to get this inhibitor. No one on the side of Stable Geniuses should be able to respond, and actually looks like they're going to back up again. They don't have a cannon minion that is going to be able to fire off.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Better not to risk anything, you know, than blow a lead like that. I mean, granted, it's a very strong lead that they have, and I think it's really hard for Stable Geniuses to come back unless they like give K a lot of kills on the Jinx here.
12,000 gold is typically 10,000 gold is the breaking point for where teams can realistically come back in a single team fight. Usually once you hit 9,000, you're gonna need at least 2 team fights that go pretty well in your favor. Either cross map or just winning a 5v5. And once you crest 10,000, it becomes that point where you are so far behind, probably in levels as well as items, that it is not only going to be a few team fights, but you're going to need people specifically to make pretty massive errors to come back into the game.
Yeah. But everyone's reset. They bought their items. Completed Runons on the Varus. So 3 items. Pretty big power spike for Zeki there, as they are going to be looking to try to get some structures taken out. They have the Shen on top side with Gassiop, and there's not much for the Stable Geniuses to do here. Yeah.
No one can answer this. There's now double cannon waves. You know, why are those cannon minions like basically melee ranging? It's Terry. You guys have Baron buff. It's a little sloppy. Not from the side of Ballistic Penguins. Not their fault. The minion logic sometimes is a little questionable.
Oh.
Try and find engagement.
Able to get the pick on Minnesota. Gets taking out 100% death rate for the side of Minnesota, but I think they're willing to cut their losses here. Triple hips down. That's a very ballsy play here. I Hate Life for a team. Fire ultimate going through a lot of knockups, but Dominus gets taken out from Zeki. While Pedals picks up the kill on top of I Hate Life, and that's going to be a double kill for Zeki, and that's going to be the clean ace, and that should be game 3 going straight over to Ballistic Penguins, securing the win versus Stable Geniuses.
Yeah, that was looking really great for them. Somehow, Billup does not get a single kill that game, just has 50% kill participation at 11 assists. Gassiop has an amazing game for himself. The Kane did really well. I think that, personally, the draft was a little bit wonky. I think the Mordekaiser could have been a couple of other champions there. But, I mean, Gassiop, if he's willing to take that free, kind of the free, hey, I'll play into Zac, sure. This is especially into Jax and Mordekaiser. Give me this lane matchup any day of the week, I'll take it. This was kind of a disappointing game 3. Considering what we saw the first game kind of be this long, dragged out potential comeback here for Stable Geniuses. Game 2, Stable Geniuses just completely, they're able to kind of hold out versus Ballistic Penguins onslaught, unlike in game 1. And in game 3, they just get completely ran over. Gassiop having an amazing game for himself. Sadly, Minnesota holding all 100% of the deaths, like you were saying. But Zeki yet again showing up in bot side and really just taking it, the entire Stable Genius, specifically KFC and Grage, to task on bot side.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations to Ballistic Penguins. They're able to close out the series in a very stompy fashion for themselves, despite game 2 not going their way. So I give them props to that, and I want to ask who takes the MVP here?
I'm sorry, Zeki. Every single game, Zeki. Okay, let's be fair. I'll go from top to bot. Minnesota has a pretty great Shen. He's okay at playing weak side, and I think that he did pretty well in every single game with some of the conditions that he was given. I think game 1 could have been played a lot better. Gassiop, I think, with a little bit of work, can definitely take over, dominate open, but the jungle pathing, man, the jungle, you gotta work on it. But hey, you take what you can get, and honestly, if I have Gassiop on my team, I'm willing to kind of take some of that risk. Billup, I think, was an incredibly stable player. There were specifically that Orianna game in game 1 didn't impress me too much. I think that there was a little bit of I guess I don't want to say it was rust, but it felt like the Orianna kind of came a little bit dry first game in. And I think Zeki all 3 games really tried to in terms of just mechanical skills, Zeki was by far one of the best players on the server tonight and for dominate. Flower Petals did an amazing job. The Yuumi, very questionable. I'd have to watch it back. From watching it live, the Yuumi did not look very impressive, but I think that the Morgana and just game 1 I think did really well for themselves. So
Yeah.
If we want to give like MVP to like, yeah, actually I'm just gonna give it to Zeki because I think
I agree.
I think if game 1 they don't have an ADC that is Zeki, or if they have another player, I'm pretty sure that if by definition we're taking most valuable player as if we take this player out of the roster and replace it with someone else, does this team still win? I think without Zeki, this team does not win game 1.
Yeah, I agree. Zeki put in a lot of work, and with that being said, congratulations to Ballistic Penguins. Also, valiant effort coming in from Stable Geniuses, of course. They picked it up game 2, and I mean, they didn't show up in game 3. Maybe there's a lot for them to be learned here. I'm sure they'll find a way somehow. But with that being said, anything else you want to say to me or Alk Battery?
Oh wow, doxing me, bro? You want to
sorry.
just you want to just put my address out there too? Don't worry about it. I'll give you my social security after this. I'll give you my social security after this.
Give me the SSN, please.
No, I just want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you, Joe, and the production crew over at Risen. Thank you, .gg. I'm so sorry that we didn't get the Raid Shadow Legends sponsor like we promised, but maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next season, Risen. Keep an eye out, guys. But that's all for me. Thank you for having me.
It's been Imod today. Always a pleasure to cast with Risen. They do amazing work. A lot of grinding coming in. Always catering to the amateur scene, and they never fail. So props to them. It's always fun to cast for them. I just wish they pulled that Raid Shadow Legends.
True. It just kind of fell through, and I think it was Joe that kind of axed the Raid.
Yeah, Shadow, so, maybe next time.
If you guys have any questions about that, go ahead and ping them in chat.
But yeah, always a pleasure. Hope everyone has a wonderful night. Stay safe. Don't go outside. 6 feet or whatever. I think that's the designated.
All right, but goodbye. Good night, guys.
Wait.
Oh, wait. We're gonna be back tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we could.
We have a best of 5. We have a best of 5.
Nice.
It is Rampage pre-made semifinals. You don't want to miss it.
I wouldn't miss it for the world. But yeah.
Depending on what the world is. 7 p.m. EST, best of 5, Rampage pre-made semifinals, and at the same time, best of 3 Unstoppable pre-made quarterfinals. A lot of final stuff going on tomorrow.
Yeah, so don't miss it, guys. A lot of League of Legends to watch. With that being said, I hope everyone has a wonderful night, and until next time.